Warning: Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Immigration is not a right guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution to everyone anywhere in the world who thinks they want to come to the United States. Immigration is a privilege. It is a privilege granted by the people of the United States to those we choose to admit. Many American workers do not have adequate job prospects. We should make their task easier to find employment, not harder.
What it do, family and friends? Welcome back to another Sunday service. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like and share button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, please click the link in the description, go to change.org and put your signature on the petition for reparations. And with that being said, family, we got to talk about this Chicago situation because as we all expected, we've been talking about it for a while. They've been getting their buildings prepared, their detention centers and things like that prepared out there in Chicago for a while. So we expected this. We got to talk about the Chicago raids. And I'm going to be honest with you, family. There's a lot of folk running around here trying to use this moment as a nanny boo-boo, stick your head in doo-doo situation where they can point to us and say, see, FBA, I told you so. I told you they come in at the black folk because, you know, a few black folk got detained in a building full of illegal migrants, illegal invaders, trade de la agua. And so they're taking this moment, trying to use this moment to push their narrative because we've been right this whole time and we ain't been out there in those streets to fight for nobody at all. We've been sitting it out and everybody's mad at it. So the Democrats see this as a way to kind of guilt trip us into actually getting back on the plantation, and it's not going to work. It's not going to work at all. So I got a few clips here I want to get into. I want to talk to you about a few things. And before we get started, you know what I got to do. Let me give a B1 salute and shalom to Reparations Nation, Andrea Jones, Aquarius Minded, our sister Hurricane Nisi in the building, our brother Jesse Paris, our sister Black Spider is in the building. Much love to you and thank you for your Cash App donation, my sister. I appreciate you tenfold and I always appreciate your contribution. Much love to you. Our sister Bad 72 is in the building. Much love to you. Our sister Kara Clark is in the building. Much love to you. Class DK, John Son, Felicia Haywood, our brother Torian Ray Reloaded. Much love to you. Jojo One, much love to you. Thank you for being here. Our brother AO is in the building, as well as Black RU. Earth Angels in the building. Much love to you. Our sister Angelic is in the building. Much love to you. And FBA Convo is in the building. Much love to you. And all those who are not in the chat, much love to you, and everybody that's going to catch this on the playback, much love to you. Let's start off here with this clip.
Dozens of federal agents from different agencies raided an apartment building in the city's South Shore neighborhood early this morning. Neighbors there report multiple arrests in this latest immigration enforcement action. People who live there are telling our Sabrina Franza that American citizens were briefly detained. She is live for us on that scene right now. Sabrina.
Marie, inside this building behind me, many of the doors are boarded up after they were broken down during that early morning raid. Now, law enforcement sources tell us that taking American citizens briefly into custody just for their safety is standard protocol, which is what we're hearing happened this morning. Neighbors, though, who were in the middle of all of this say they are shocked to have been treated this way.
They asked me, was I a U.S. citizen? I told them, yeah. I was born here. It was real tight, all right here. And every time I moved, it would hurt.
Patricia Fisher says she was detained by federal agents this morning, claims she was held for hours in a van with other neighbors at 7500 South Shore Drive, while agents confirmed her identity, citizenship, and confirmed she had no active warrants. She describes the scene as she says children were also let out of the building.
No shoes. The kids that had no shirts or no pants on, they just treated us like we were nothing.
He said he had warrants for 5 people. I said, so why are you detaining the whole building? He says for the safety of our people.
Ebony Watson watched and filmed what she saw.
And all you see is this whole block full of budget rental cars,
showing a massive show of force and rental trucks used in this mission alongside ICE, FBI, and other federal agencies. The FBI called it a, quote, targeted immigration enforcement operation. Are they at the property? Because we're here. We tried to find the property manager. No one would meet with us or give us any information about what happened.
It's crazy. It felt like we were under siege last night.
Meantime, this Chicago neighborhood is grappling for answers.
They brought a baby out completely naked and wouldn't allow the mother a chance to clothe her child. You know, it's distressing.
Now, we've reached out to ICE, DHS, as well as to Customs and Border Patrol for more information on what exactly happened this morning, who was detained and why. We're still waiting to hear back from them. Live in South Shore, Sabrina Franza, CBS News, Chicago.
Now, family, I wanted to play that clip first because, one, I wanted to make sure everybody knew what was going on. And then, two, I just noticed how much they were saying and making it very clear. They kept saying briefly, briefly, briefly. And that's one of the things that I'm hearing all online. Everybody who's talking about this is talking about detained briefly, detained briefly. You know, family, I don't condone anything that happened to those brothers and sisters that live in that building. I don't. However, I'm not going to sit here and pretend as if I've never seen people get detained when someone in the building is being arrested or being apprehended. I used to live in LA, and I used to see this all the time. Whenever something went down, everybody that's around gets detained. If you get pulled over, everybody in the car, children, men, and women, gets detained. And I'm not talking about letting the children sit in the car. I've been in situations where everybody has been pulled out the car and sat on the concrete with your legs out, all because of the fact they just wanted to do it. So I'm not downplaying what they did, but we're not going to sit here and pretend like this doesn't happen in America every single day. And that's what people are running around here doing. Like when they talked to the one lady who said that she was so out of it. She just never thought it would happen. Like it just doesn't make any sense, especially living in America as a Black American. These things happen. You can be a PhD and get pulled over and pulled out and detained. Our children walking home from school, they roll up on as if it's still stop and frisk going on. So let's not pretend that this is the first time we've ever seen Black people being detained for someone else's shenanigans. The most important part to me is that nobody is refuting the fact that those people were not deported. They were released. They grabbed 37 people out of there. 37 damn people they got out that building. Wasn't none of them black. Well, let's just say the black folks got to go back home. Those other 37 people, you know, they have to go to another home, their original home. So yeah, I'm not too angry about it, but I do understand the gravity of what they did there. Let's go here, family. I want to play a clip of somebody who was a so-called, a quote unquote, allegedly was one of the people who was detained.
About the detainment. How many black people was detained, right?
On the bus with me, it was about maybe 15 of us.
It was 15. How many had warrants?
It's about 2 or 3 of them had
They
warrants.
held two that held warrants.
And they went to jail.
They went to jail.
We had a pregnant lady out there with us, and she was telling them, I'm pregnant, I'm hungry. Can I get something to eat? Can I get some water?
Mm-hmm.
They told them, no.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all sit here long enough, y'all get some food and water. Hold on, we already been out here a couple of hours.
Okay.
And everybody started going off.
Mm-hmm.
We know our rights.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all say we're not detained, but y'all got us in these shackles.
Mm-hmm.
If we ain't detained, let us go.
Let me ask you this question. Were there children out there that was hands were tied? Was there children? No children.
No children.
And that building is mostly grown women
Yeah.
and men and no children.
No children. Only ones that had children there was the Venezuelans.
The Venezuelans was the only one that had small children.
Wait a second, family. Because in the news clip that I just played, they were saying it was our children out there with no shirt, no pants on. And this man saying, no, we didn't have any children out there. The only children that was out there was the Venezuelans. Nobody mentioned that in the first clip, did they? See, they tried to tug on your heartstrings. That's why they didn't tell you whose children was out there. They wanted to leave it as vague as possible. Shalom and salute to Seduction Doll. Thank you for being here, family.
Children in the building.
But when they took them out, any woman that had kids, they did not tie them up.
Okay.
They didn't put no hands on them so they could hold on
So
to
that
their
they can
baby.
hold on to their children. Okay. And let's talk about the conditions just one more time. The conditions before ICE came in. How was the conditions?
It was fair, but now it's really tore up. Because they knocked doors in.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of them apartments that they did not go in.
Okay.
And there's a lot of like second floor, third floor, fourth floor. It's like they had a list of air apartments that they wanted to hit.
They had specific air targets. Okay, all right. Hey, thank you. I really appreciate you speaking with me today, and thank you.
Salute DSA 1. Thank you for being here, family, as well as T1 Production. Much love to you. Family, he said that they had specific targets. So they knew who they were hitting. They knew exactly what apartments to hit, and they knew which floors they were going to hit. So everybody on the floors that they had targeted or they had on their list, everybody on those floors was pulled out, which is standard protocol. I'm not going to say it isn't. Shalom to our sister Key Prince. But like I said, for the most part, from somebody who was allegedly there, you're hearing a different story than what they're presenting on the news. And now we got to go over to Abby Phillips. Because you know they have to spin this in the way that it had to be spent. It is, I guess, what do you call? It's on the turntable. That's how bad they're spinning this. How much they're spinning it. I would say she's DJ Abby. Let's go.
So as forewarned, I mean, we have a situation in which American cities are at the center of this ICE
Notice how she starts with, as forewarned. Like, we told you this was going to happen. We just knew it was going to be a problem.
So, as forewarned, I mean, we have a situation in which American cities are at the center of this ICE crackdown, and there's indiscriminate use of force against Americans, non-Americans, people here legally, people here illegally. And on the right, nobody seems to care. In fact, they love it.
I saw a video from a local station in Chicago, and residents of a community there were describing an ICE raid and like what they saw. Two things struck me. One, they were talking about things that happened to them. They were talking about how they were treated in this ICE raid. These are the people that, I guess, by virtue of being born here in America, are entitled to being treated like human beings. The second thing is that they were all Black. And I'm going to say something. We saw this coming.
You see what he did there? And the second thing is they were all Black. And I got to say, we saw this coming. Sir, they arrested 37 Trade de la Agua members and their families. You didn't mention that at all. You try to convince everybody that was pulled out of those apartments were all Black. And that's not the case. And that's why I made sure to play the elder there who was allegedly there. He broke down the whole situation. They pulled us out. They set us down. We was out there for a few hours. One pregnant lady said she was hungry because she had some food and water. They told her no. If you're out there long enough, they'll feed you. They asked about the children. It was the Venezuelan children out there in their underwear being arrested, being held or whatever. And then even then, they allowed the mothers to go with the children. But on your side, you're trying to tell us that it was all Black people. Caught dead in a lie.
We knew the neighborhoods where these ICE raids would take place. We knew that a lot of these things wouldn't happen in Beverly Hills or in Coconut Grove or any of those places like that. We knew that there would be collateral damage, that there would be trauma that would be inflicted on our communities. We knew that people would be detained, scared. We knew that children would have to see things that they shouldn't have to see. And all of this for political theater so that we look tough on immigration for everyone. It's a horror show. And I do think if it hasn't already happened, that it'll be something that even the most conservative of Americans will get tired of seeing human beings treated this way. At least that's my hope.
The one neighbor said the kids were crying. They looked very odd. I was out there crying when I seeing the little girl come around the corner because they were bringing kids down too, had them zip tied to each other, saying that there were trucks, military style vans used to separate adults from kids. What's going on?
I haven't seen any of this, so I certainly.
All right, and she just said they were zip tied to each other. Let's go back to what he said here.
We've been out here a couple of hours,
Okay.
and everybody started going off.
Mhm.
We know our rights.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all say we're not detained, but y'all got us in these shackles. If we ain't detained, let us go.
Let me ask you this question. Were there children out there that was hands were tied? Was
No.
there children? No children.
No children.
And that building is mostly grown women
Well, yeah,
and men and no children.
no children. Only ones that had children there was the Venezuelans.
The Venezuelans was the only one that had
Yeah,
small
they had
children
children.
in the building.
But when they took them out,
Mhm,
any woman that had kids,
mhm.
they did not tag them up.
Okay.
They didn't put no hands on them so they could hold
So
on to
that
their
they can
baby.
hold on to their children. Okay.
So what's going on here? We're getting two different stories here from the media. We're getting one side from the Lamb Street media, of course, that's what they do. And then from the streets, we're getting another side. Okay. Shout out to the boss and Chris M. Thank you both for being here.
I'm not aware of particular neighborhoods that are targeted. Obviously, I support them finding and arresting people who are here illegally. And in the community they're in, again, I can't justify, I haven't seen which communities that they're targeting.
Well, one detail that's been left out is that they were targeting Tren de Aragua. And so Tren de Aragua is a violent transnational gang. They send illegal immigrants here to the United States. They traffic drugs, they traffic people, they commit violence.
You see this dude in the back, I forget his name, but he irritates the hell out of me. You see how so bothered he is. Look at his body language. He tapping his finger. He's doing all the heavy breathing in the background. As soon as he said they were targeting Trey De La Agua, it's real sassy. Real sassy.
Immigrants here to the United States, they traffic drugs, they traffic people, they commit violence. They inflict is a violent transnational gang. They send illegal immigrants here to the United States, they traffic drugs, they traffic people, they commit violence. They inflict misery.
Thank you, Van Latham. That just he irritates the hell out of my spirit, man. I'm sorry.
Everywhere they go. And 37 people were arrested. That was the purpose of the raid, the targeting of Tren de Aragua, some of the most violent people in our hemisphere. And when they come here, nothing good happens.
Okay, so if it was targeting, I don't think anybody has a problem with targeting. When you clear out an apartment building and you zip tie children and you arrest and detain everyone. Scott, hold on.
This man said, are the children Trey De La Agua? What does that matter? They're there with Trey De La Agua. Like, that makes no sense. If it's just one of us at home with our children sleeping, and the police break in with a warrant looking to arrest me, it wouldn't matter if my child is a criminal or not. My child is going to be brought out the house along with me. Everybody in the house is going to be brought out the house. So what the hell does it matter if the children are Trey De La Agua? If they're not now, then they're going to be raised to be. In the very same way that, you know, their parents are involved with that. You don't think that they would be involved in it too? They don't know how street gangs work.
Hold on, Scott. You and me, we're talking here, okay? If they arrest children, they arrest everyone, citizens and non-citizens, for hours, detain them, deprive them of their liberty, for no matter how long. You are fine with that.
They didn't arrest children, but
I didn't say they arrested them. They put them in zip ties. But if that makes a difference to you, go ahead.
Here's what makes a difference.
And from what we're hearing, they didn't even do that. But go ahead.
To me, if the federal government knows that there is a nest of Tren de Aragua in a city like Chicago, they have a responsibility. They have an obligation to go get them. It is unfortunate, to answer your question, that there are children put in harm's way by these violent gangs. But that is going to be the reality.
Or is it unfortunate, or is it a violation of their rights, is the question? Because, I mean, in this country, we have rights against searches and
illegal searches and children should be effectively shielded for Tren de Aragua.
No, I'm asking, hold on, I want to make it clear. I know that Tren de Aragua and gangs and whatever, it's a catch-all to treat people however you want, to go in there and treat the Constitution or whatever else.
No. No. What it is labeling the people for what they are, Van. They're known gang members from Venezuela who's been terrorizing the black people in that community. It's been over a year and these people have been going around begging for help. You can't tell me you haven't seen all of the video clips coming out of Chicago with all the folks in the black community outright calling these folks out, going to city council meetings, calling them out, going wherever Brandon Johnson is, calling him out. Because they put dangerous people in their community and then walked away. Shalom to Astarte Jones. Thank you for being here, my sister. Much love to you.
It is that you want to do. What I'm asking you is this. Do you think that children should have been zip tied and pulled out of an apartment complex and traumatized like that? Yes or no?
I don't think children should be put in harm's way by transnational gangs.
Just answer the question. Yes or no?
You know what? That was a good little get back. I don't think children should be, you know, put in danger by a transnational gang. That's a good little point there. That's a good point there.
Do you think they're children?
I don't accept the premise of your question.
I'm asking
the government's
you
not putting children in harm's way. Tren de Aragua.
Real calm now. Real calm. Like
they're the ones putting children in harm's way.
Gentlemen. We have a responsibility for the way we treat people.
Gentlemen to gentlemen. Neither one of you are gentlemen. Neither one of you. You're a bootlick and he's a racist, an anti-black white supremacist. And I'm gonna keep you 100 with you. Neither one of you have that title of a gentleman. You could say scumbag to scumbag. You could say bootlick to, suspected white supremacists. I mean, that would fit more. But gentleman to gentleman? I don't think so. Nah. If you two shook hands and came up with a gentleman's agreement, I would expect either one of you to turn around that very second with a knife in your hand trying to stab each other in the back. I don't see no gentleman there. Let's continue.
With the power that we have here in America. And we have a standard that we should treat human life with. And I'm asking you very clearly, concisely, should children be treated that way? Does Scott Jennings like that?
I don't accept the premise of your question.
All right, cool.
I don't believe that the premise of your question is accurate. I would ask you back. Should children be allowed to live in an apartment building with Trinidad Aragua? Should the entire community of Chicago have to live with Trinidad Aragua because they hide behind these children?
But here's the thing.
That's my
I
question
think the answer to that is clear. No, they should.
I mean, what else can you say there, buddy? I mean, one good question deserves another, I guess. Let's run that back.
Community of Chicago has to live with Trinidad Aragua because they hide behind these children.
But here's the thing.
That's my
I
question.
think the answer to that is clear. No, they should not be put in harm's way. But the difference is in this situation is I don't want to be Trinidad Aragua. I don't want my law enforcement to act like Trinidad Aragua. That is the distinction.
You don't want to be.
What the hell is this woman talking about? I don't want to be Trey de la Agua. I don't want my law enforcement to act like Trey de la Agua. What kind of weird stuff is this woman smoking? She is smoking something potent. Law enforcement isn't acting like Trey de la Agua by getting them up out of here. You act like they busted in the doors and just started beheading people. What the hell is she talking about? Shout out to Mandatory. Much love to you. Thank you for being here, family.
But you just want to leave it and say, we have kids in there. Let's just move on.
No, but can't law enforcement figure out a way? I don't think this is the first time children have been in an environment where dangerous people have been around them. And I'm most certain that in most of those circumstances, those children aren't zip tied and carried out like animals.
Family, do you remember when Obama was in office? Didn't Obama have those children in cages? I'm scratching my head there because she's speaking like there's this high moral ground. And Obama literally had these kids in cages. Is it me? Or do you got to have a very short memory to be a Democrat? You got to have a very short memory to be a Republican too, either way. But yeah, they're acting like they didn't know that.
I'm wondering is, okay, let's put this fact pattern on any other placement. Let's put it on a school, right? What if there was a gang member in a school? And by this calculation, it would seem like the children in the school, in order to get that one gang member or two gang members, would get.
It's not one gang member. It's 37
well,
people.
Let's say there's
it's a large apartment. That's part of the fact pattern here.
It's 37 people that took over an apartment building that was majority black before they got there. That's what it is. Gang members who pushed people out of their apartment buildings, forced them to move out of the areas in which they live and probably and was populating in order to bring more people such as themselves in. That's what it is. But, the Dems don't give a damn about that. They were the ones that put them there.
I mean, here's another one from our reporting. Tenants said it appears everyone in the building was detained by federal officers, including U.S. citizens. It was scary, said one, because I had never had a gun in my face. That person lives in the building. They asked my name and my date of birth and asked me, did I have any warrants? I told them, no, I didn't. Fisher, this person says she was handcuffed anyway before being released around 3 a.m. and was told anyone with outstanding warrants, even if it was unrelated to immigration, would not be released. So again, like people live in apartment buildings all over this country.
I promise that.
Wait a second.
Did
I just go to an apartment building?
Wait, I'm talking about the way that citizen of this country was treated. By the way, I just want to be clear. I think that everybody that's created in the image of God should be treated with respect. And I thought that part.
Oh, where is it?
Get your man.
All right. Did you take a stupid pill with your breakfast this morning, Admiral?
Nigga, please.
I just find it so goddamn amazing that all these people find religion when talking about a whole different group of people. But when you're talking about Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, to be more specific, oh yeah, there's everything under the sun that's the problem. And it's up to us to fix us. But when it comes to everybody else, I believe that everybody who's a child of God should be treated with dignity and respect. Do you see why nobody take these people serious? Do you see why the lamestream media has been losing its viewer base consistently over the past few years? Their credibility just goes straight downhill. Shalom and salute to our brother Antithesis in the building. Much love to you, family.
Of the American ideal was that, but that's gone. I promise y'all will still be invited to Mar-a-Lago if you say that it is wrong that children were zip-tied and that American citizens were detained without any warrant or suspicion.
Briefly detained? In an effort to get 37 Trinidad members?
So tell me. So
what you're suggesting is
would you be okay being detained so that the gang members, would you be okay with your rights being violated and you be held until 3 a.m. with your family member not knowing why?
Family, like I said, this manufactured outrage over being detained when we have people who are unalived by police, by Nabiscos, just regular old everyday Nabiscos, and everything that they're sitting here putting all this energy behind has happened to us 10 times, 12 times, 100 times over. These people are just so unserious.
Is that okay? Because that's not okay with me.
Everybody here seems to believe that if you're Trinidad Arago, you can go hide in an apartment building, and because there are other people there, you just get to be left alone. That is not a reasonable enforcement position.
There's another option here, and it's actually an option that's utilized by law enforcement every single day in this country. When they are looking for violent people, they go look for those violent people. They do not subject the people around those violent people who have nothing to do with them with arrest, with guns in their faces, with being searched, with being.
Breonna Taylor. Need I say more?
Zip tied and handcuffed and detained every day in America. Law enforcement does their jobs and they don't do it like this. So why is suddenly
every day in America you're not necessarily dealing?
All of a sudden, law enforcement in America does a good job? Really, Abby Phillips? Tell me more. Because let people such as you tell it. We wanted to defund the police and all this other stuff when we wanted police punished. Now all of a sudden, the police does their job every day and don't do it in a derogatory way towards us. I'm not surprised. You can't be surprised with these type of people. The tap dancing gets real. This is the tether. Police doesn't do their job every day and they don't do it like this.
with the most violent people in the
Actually,
industry.
yes,
we're not.
Scott, there are violent people who are right here in this country, American citizens. They are in gangs. They were born here. Their parents were born here. Their grandparents were born here.
Believe me, we know.
Those people are dealt with by law enforcement every day. Again, it's a real basic question. If you lived in an apartment building
and how are they dealt with, Abby? You know, I'll tell you a story. When I was younger, the way police used to deal with quote unquote gangbangers or people they deemed to be gangbangers, they would pick them up in the dead of night and drop them off in their rival hood's territory and leave them. That was a standard practice for police. Abby Phillips, at least in Los Angeles. They would pull up on everybody, have them get face down, and rob us. Take whatever money's in your pocket or whatever else you had in your pocket of value. Abby, this is how they used to deal with us. And we was just regular old children at the time walking the damn streets. My little sister had a gun put in her face because the police officer followed me and my cousins to my house. Through my driveway used to still, my front door was in my backyard, so you had to walk through the driveway in order to get to the front yard. Technically, it was my backyard was my front yard. And he saw us doing that, and he followed us into my on my property, and then detained all of us. It was about 5 of us, just me and my cousins. My little sister opened the door. I told her to close the door back. The police officer put the gun in her face and told her to come out and sit down. This is how they treat children, Abby. And this is just my experience. I know there are many others with their own horror stories about these pigs. But you're not going to sit here and act as if, our police officers do their jobs and they don't do no things like this. My sister was only 11, 12 years old. Shalom in the B1. Salute. The faith speaks life. Thank you for your Cash App donation, family. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always. Yeah, I'm not going to allow you to say that nonsense. So many of the people I know have horror stories when it comes down to the police. And we did nothing, just living our everyday life. Salute a law solution. Thank you for being here, family, as well as KO Surge, as well as Sybil. Thank you for being here, and J87. Much love to all of you.
Happened to be somebody who was guilty of a terrible crime in that building, and law enforcement barged in, guns blazing, and put every single person in that apartment building under arrest. You would be fine with that, including you and your family.
Not everybody is under arrest. They arrested 37 people. They arrested 37 people. You said everybody. It's 37 people.
This person was sleeping in their bed, and they were detained. They were put in handcuffs and detained.
Neither you nor I was there. You nor I were there. But I know this. Now 37
you and your family,
violent people are now off the street.
Scott, you and your family. You are in an apartment building. You and your family. You would be fine with your liberty being held up. Your kids, your wife, your children being detained for any amount of time because somebody in that building was a criminal. You'd be fine with that?
You are vastly oversimplifying what's happening here. There are scores of illegal immigrants.
I think sometimes we have to simplify things so that we actually understand what we're talking about, because I do think that this is a problem now for the rest of the country. People are going about their lives, and they are not responsible for the crimes of other people, and yet in this world in which ICE is operating like this, they are being detained for other people's crimes.
Whoa, wait a second. Okay, so people are going about their lives, and they're not responsible for other people's crimes, right? Then why the hell y'all keep trying to get us out there to fight for a bunch of people who broke the law to be here, whose very existence in this country is a crime, whose very existence in this country is a crime? Why are you trying to get us out there? Interesting. Things that make you go,
That's to accept a whole lot of collateral violation of rights of anybody, whether you're American citizens or not, because there are many rights in this country that are in the Constitution that don't, it doesn't matter if
illegals do not have the constitutional rights that citizens do. I'm so sick of people sitting here acting as if these illegals have the same constitutional rights. The only right that is given to an illegal by the Constitution, according to the courts, is due process. And if these people, which many of them have, skip out on their due process, they get an order of removal. That's how things work. They are not afforded every constitutional right that an American citizen like you and I have. But you try to muddy the water to make people who don't know what the Constitution actually represents and says, to make them believe that, these illegals have the same rights as you and me. And that's why people have stopped watching the mainstream media. That's why the mainstream media is not the go-to. Shalom and salute to our brother Rashad Wallace in the building. Much love to you, family. Let's get over here to what Mayor Tether Johnson had to say.
Mayor, we are learning about an overnight targeted immigration enforcement operation in the South Shore neighborhood. Can you tell us anything more about that operation?
What we simply know is that, you have masked men with large weapons that are simply disappearing people from their homes. We're talking about children being stripped away from their parents. We're talking about workers that are being targeted. Just this last weekend, we had 2 public school teachers detained by ICE. We had the incident that you just referred to in a suburb right outside of the city of Chicago. We had a CBS reporter who had pepper balls shot at her while she was just simply doing her job, and tear gas being spread throughout these individuals who are protesting and resisting these, what we are clear about, egregious acts and an overreach of the Constitution. And so we're very firm in the city of Chicago about protecting all residents, and I've put forth a couple of executive orders to do just that. There is no one in this city that believes that what this president is doing is on the behalf of working people in our city.
Notice how he keeps saying working people. That's what he's calling these illegals, working people. He says there's no one in the city who agrees with what the president is doing. Well, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to the actual citizens of Chicago. But of course, we have to play, before we get to the real ones, we got to jump in with the little bootlicks that ran with the narrative. Let's start with the Zesties.
Y'all, what just went down in Chicago is wild, and people need to see this. In the middle of the night, hundreds of agents raided an apartment complex in the South Shore neighborhood. Over 300 officers from ICE, FBI, ATF, and other agencies showed up with helicopters. Some even say Black Hawks and trucks to hit the complex. They reportedly went into nearly every apartment, busting down doors, dragging people from their beds, and detaining Black U.S. citizens. There are even reports of children being zip-tied and taken out naked. Officials claim they were searching for 6 high-priority targets linked to a gang, but they didn't show warrants, and it's unclear if they actually found anyone. Residents.
You see how people are just lying? They already done told you they done got 37 of them. 37 of them. And this dude talking about it's unclear if they even found anyone.
Say black people were separated into one van, immigrants in another. Around 30 to 40 people were disappeared that night, and activists are scrambling to figure out who they were because the government isn't providing info. This raid is a harsh reminder that they're coming for all of us. Activists say white supremacist systems have divided Black and Latino communities for years, making it easier for raids like this. And don't think it's just happening to one group. This could expand to more communities next. Keep your eyes open, stay vigilant, and stick together, because if this is happening now, who's next?
That raid in Chicago on the South Side. I wasn't even going to talk about it, but since I'm from Chicago, the South Side, here it is. Chicago is one of the most segregated cities in the country. Still, 2025, blacks here, whites here, Asians here, Hispanics, whole other area. So this wasn't even about immigration. Where this happened, 70.
You see how these mother lovers get out here and just lie. It just rolls off of their tongues. He said that this doesn't have nothing to do with Hispanics. There was no Hispanics there, when the news is telling you straight up that they came out with 37 Venezuelans from Tray del Agua. But he up here bucking his eyes, lying through his grimy little teeth, talking about this had nothing to do with Hispanics.
The South Shore is predominantly black, always has been. So then they try to switch it and say, well, it's about gang activity. We got to protect the citizens from gang activities and the dangers of gangs. No black person wants gangs in their neighborhood, but that ain't what this was. This was the furthest thing from that. So let me tell you something. When you say you want to protect the communities from the dangers of things, gangs didn't storm the Capitol, hunt down elected officials, including the vice president, and
notice how he tried to say he's deflecting. Excuse me, I was about to say deflating. He's deflecting right now. He started off talking about the gangs in Chicago, the transnational gang in Chicago, to then trying to pivot over to January 6ers. Why aren't you keeping your eye on the gang members in that building that was taken out of that building and arrested? That's what the whole thing was about. But you need to do your little pivot like a Democratic shield would do. Just plain disgusting, man. Shalom and salute to Val Hawkins. Thank you for being here, family, as well as the Hula Gang. Thank you for being here, family. And our brother Crew Reality, much love to you. Thank you for being here.
alive a few cops and then get pardoned. Gangs didn't unalive 9 churchgoers as they prayed and then get taken to Burger King. Gangs didn't drive 2 to 3 hours to a grocery store in Buffalo, unaliving 10 black people as they shopped.
You see this disgusting little gremlin-looking punk? Yeah, he's a gremlin-looking punk to me at this point in time. Using our hardships, our experiences here, to now try to put on for the Tray del Agua gang members.
Didn't try to kidnap a governor. Gangs did not shoot up a musical festival in Vegas, unaliving 60 people and injuring 413. And I guarantee you, nobody in that building, nobody is on any of those files that this country refuses to release. So is it really about the dangers?
What does that have to do with the price of tea in China? We're talking about getting these transnational gang members out of a black neighborhood so that, you know, black people can have their neighborhood back. And you're talking about everything. He's basically just tossing stuff at the wall to see what sticks. That's all he's doing here. Stick to the subject at hand. It's about removing these illegals from a black neighborhood that they infiltrated, that the Democratic Party put into our neighborhoods. And this dude said that he's from the South Shore of Chicago. Salute Wild Williams and LaShawn Kent. Thank you both for being here, family.
It sounds like it's about something else. We as black people have always been the lowest hanging fruit. We have always been the target. Even when they're looking at somebody else, they always have their mind focused on us. Always. Because we're the ones that they can marginalize the most. We're the ones they can demean the most. We're the ones that they can excuse whatever atrocities happen to the most. It's always been that way. We've always been the litmus test. Always been the litmus test. I'm saying that to say this. One, I apologize to those grandmas, those kids. I apologize to those parents that had to see their children zip tied in the middle of the night for something they didn't do. I apologize.
Internalize the flatulation of the matter by transmitting the effervescence of the Indonesian proximity in order to further segregate the crux of my venereal infection.
So all those people, those citizens in Chicago that had to see what they had to see. But what we can't do is we can't give them what they want. They want us to continue to be the distraction for their chaos. They want us to be the scapegoat for their ineptitude. We cannot give them that. It's frustrating, but we got to push through it. We got to find a way to push through it and support each other. You know what they're doing. We can't give them that.
We know what you're doing, and we're not giving you jack. Let's be very clear about that. Any one of you little crooked, little spineless, little chumps, wombat looking little bastards, we ain't giving none of y'all nothing. Our name is Bennett, and we ain't in it. Y'all out here using this situation for basically clickbait. You're lying completely through your teeth to get a couple of clicks and views. So let's hit the streets. Let's see what the grassroots was saying about this situation from people who's actually in that area.
All right, y'all. At this point, y'all have really pissed me off, especially you so-called influencers who are taking parts of stories coming out of Chicago and using it for fucking clickbait and engagement. Now, I have been urging my people here to pause so that they can process things. Y'all talking about them coming down on that building out south. Whole time, that building used to be predominantly black. That building was predominantly Venezuelans, okay? There are people from that neighborhood that have been complaining about that building for a year, okay? They showed y'all broken windows and shit that were already there. These are the things that y'all have to stop doing. And this is why I keep telling people here in the city, particularly black people, pause so you can process. If y'all start responding to shit out of emotion, then you don't know what the fucking play is because you haven't had time to actually think. What people are doing are trying to get a rise out of black Chicagoans, okay? That was one incident. Then you had the guy out west that had the accident and they pulled him out and one of the agents was choking him and people were recording it, okay? So again, follow-ups to all of these things, never. Nobody ever comes back with the follow-up. They talking about, oh, they're arresting black people in Chicago. All of the black people that they took from that building on the south side were released. The 37 people that they detained were all Venezuelans who were part of a particular gang. Y'all got to stop doing that shit. Y'all are really making me mad with this, okay? Especially for those people who don't live here, but you're going to use these fucking stories as a way to get some engagement. Slow, pause, bro. I hate to get into it with some of y'all because I've seen some of y'all so-called influencers using this shit as a way for y'all to get attention and likes. Yes, this is a very serious issue, but I also want y'all to understand that there's never been a time that black Chicagoans have not been under pressure. There's never been a time that we've not been fighting. So what are you talking about? Y'all want us to get so emotional that motherfuckers get on the front lines of something. No. You have to step back and pay attention first and foremost here. We know how to pay attention to things that's going on around us. Okay. And y'all want people to get so upset that we go out into the streets and then some shit really happen. Black Chicagoans, fuck all them people that's talking crazy on this internet, especially if they asses ain't from here. Y'all sit the fuck down, pull back, because you have to be able to process what is going on. If you go out there on some emotional shit, that's how things get twisted. That's how shit get fucked up, because you're not thinking logically. I really need y'all to understand that this is not us against migrants. This is not us against anybody that they are here trying to detain. This is about us being a sanctuary city and our mayor and our governor pushing back on to stop posting about what's happening right now and not adding the fact that there was shit that led up to this happening. I ain't excusing nothing that they doing, but what I'm not going to do is put my people in no burning building. We ones, hear me out. Be patient. I'm not saying that we won't do anything. I'm not saying that they won't try anything. I am saying you cannot react off of emotion. There has to be patience. There has to be a process. There has to be a preparation. Stop letting these people gas y'all the fuck up.
They detained American citizens. They had children in zip ties.
See, we ain't finna do this shit. Goofy asshole. I'm from Chicago. I stay about 2 minutes from where that shit happened, where they raided that building. Did they detain everybody in the building? According to the news report, yeah. Yeah, they gotta clear the building. You think they finna let motherfuckers stay in their apartment while they getting illegals out the other apartments? And they ain't motherfucking cleared the whole building? That's a safety threat. Hey, we not listening to these motherfuckers. We is not listening to the motherfucker that's trying to block out the sun like they the moral compass or like they our motherfucking central nervous system brain. Like, bitch, you don't think for us? Think for yourself, ho. Goofy ass liberal progressive. Y'all always sticking y'all fucking nose in our business. Bitch, mind your business. We want Trump here with the National Guard. We want to get motherfuckers that ain't supposed to be here up out of here. And whoever feel a way about it, fuck you. Because why you ain't feel a way about motherfucking the last 4 years of the other president bringing all these people in and taking all our resources. So a motherfucker don't got no consideration when it come to us, but we supposed to just be the motherfucking doormat for everybody and the welcoming mat that subsidize everybody else coming in and replacing us. What the fuck? Bitch, we ain't listening to you. You was a fucking nobody. We not our fucking grandfathers and they daddies and they sons. Goofy ass. We a fucking nation of Tupacs and King Vons. We'll destroy this motherfucker.
I gotta pause right there. I'm just gonna say it. I'm not from Chicago. Maybe there's a bigger significance on them there, but I'm just gonna say putting King Von and Tupac in the same sentence is wild to me. But that's just me. All my Chicago folk, y'all let me know. Is King Von in the same sentence as a Tupac Shakur? I'm just asking. I'm asking for a friend. I'm trusting y'all input on this. Shout out to our sister Black Spider. Thank you for your Cash App donation, family. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, my sister. And I'm not being hyperbolic. I really want to know. In y'all opinion, is King Von in the same talking points, or can you use him in the same sentence as Tupac Shakur? I'm just asking. Just asking. Look, LaShawn said it's diabolical. I'm just saying, he might have more importance in Chicago than Tupac does, King Von was a vicious YN, huh? Nope. I love King Von, but no. Okay, I'm just asking, Shout out to Carter Knowles, Chicago born and raised. And hell no, those two names should never be in the same sentence. I'm just okay, cool. Shout out to Sean White. Why the new generation? Okay. King Prince says nope, not the same. Besides being proud. Okay. All right. I just had to make sure, I thought it was wild when I heard it. I was like, but then again, I am an older person, I'm 39 now, maybe, what I'm saying? Young Von, he holds high significance in Chicago. I don't know. I know Chief Keef got love out there, but let's let him continue.
So what you need to do is mind your fucking business. Realize it's the age of Aquarius. Goofy. Y'all can't use them same motherfucking tricks. Ain't nobody going. Like I said, y'all can't use them same motherfucking tricks. Ain't nobody going for that dumbass shit. Y'all don't represent no motherfucker. Y'all don't speak for none of us. Bitch, mind your business. You want to motherfucking help, bitch, send us some money. Donate. That's what you do. Provide resources. We don't need your motherfucking thought process. We autonomous. Fuck is you talking about? Any of y'all that look like me and y'all listening to these motherfuckers, you not part of the group. We ostracizing your goof ass. Stay your stupid ass over there. Stay your dumb ass over there. Keep promoting Willie Lynch. Keep promoting the shit. And don't think because I'm conservative, I give a fuck about a Republican. I know the whole system corrupt. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm going to use this motherfucker how I see fit to get what the fuck I need done. That's what it is. I don't give a fuck about this system. Yeah, I voted. Yeah, I voted for Trump. And I got a Trump hat. Because I like what he's doing. What he's doing is more in favor of my agenda than anybody else. Period. Do I give a fuck about the system? Do I even really care about Trump? No, I don't give a fuck. I know both sides corrupt. I see this motherfucker going over there kissing the small hat's ass. You think I don't see this shit? But I see you motherfuckers trying to give a kid a lap dance from a rainbow. The whole shit is corrupt. The whole shit is fucked. Ain't none of y'all motherfucking qualified to rule us or to tell us shit. And ain't none of your fake motherfucking token BLK leaders qualified either. Because all they ass ain't shit but Boule and Divine Nine, secret societies. So yeah, all you motherfucking cake faces, stay your bitch ass over there and mind your fucking business. Goofy.
Hey, shout out to that brother because, you know, I don't have to agree with him about voting for Trump. You know, like I said, I voted for the couch, but he had his own reasons and it works for him and that's good for him, you know. But what I will say is that I appreciate the fact that he let it be known that he ain't no Republican or Democrat. He knows how to play the damn game. And that's what we're supposed to be doing, playing the game. Who's going to do more for my community? Whose agenda more aligns with what my community needs? And when you recognize that, that's when you really see your freedom. That's what independent is supposed to do. It's supposed to mean. Let's get over here to our brother Brian Jehovah. Shout out to him. Much love to him.
Man, what's going on, y'all? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Check this out. These people still talk about us as Black Americans, FBA, indigenous, whatever you want to identify as on this land, that we will be deported because of what's going on in Chicago. I'm seeing a lot of videos. I'm gonna play some videos throughout this whole video that I'm making about all these Negroes talking about y'all gonna be deported. I told y'all been talking about y'all can't be deported. Y'all gonna be deported. They detaining Black people out there in Chicago.
I told y'all came from me in my comments. You told me, oh, we're the 92%. Haitians don't like us anyway. And everyone who said that, I said, you think that the Border Patrol give a fuck if you Haitian or not? You think they can tell the difference? We all Black to them. They don't care. Neighbors like Ebony Watt.
Now listen, y'all. Let me tell y'all something. Tell me a time in history where we never been detained as Black people. Let's take ICE out of it. When have we not been detained? Why Black people acting like this just a new concept that Black people never been harassed by the police? That Black people just never been just walking minding their business and police just never detained certain Black people in America?
For every Black American that got on the internet and this app and refused to talk about what ICE was doing and what is going on in our country, because I don't really care about the Hispanic community because they don't care about us, which is BS.
Tell me that. I've been detained plenty of times in my life by the police for nothing. But guess what? I never been deported. Okay? I never been deported. Then they use Chicago as an example, talking about they snatched people out the house. They detained them for over an hour. Some of them don't know what happened. But check this out, though. Check this out. I do not agree with white supremacist terrorism on my people. I do not agree with what Trump is doing to the Black people in Chicago, what he ordered to do to the Black people in Chicago.
ICE is now going after and detaining all Black people in Chicago, including Black Americans, regardless of your citizenship status and regardless if you are native to this country.
Right. These Black people getting their homes ransacked, getting woke up in the middle of the night, being harassed, threatened, right? But guess what? They are not being deported at the end of the motherfucking day. They are not being deported, they're being detained, or maybe someone they got detained, they ran in and they found that they got a warrant, they go to jail. You know what I mean? There are plenty of people every day that's not getting pulled over by ICE, that's not being harassed by everybody else, that be detained, they run your name, you go to jail. Okay, a lot of people been detained for something. Then when they ran, I said, "Oh, you know you got a warrant out there. You know you got a traffic ticket out there. Oh, you know you got this type of warrant. You go to jail, but guess what? You're not being deported. I'd rather go to jail for a warrant because I was detained and being harassed and me being upset and mad, lost my job, everything. I lose everything. Than them deporting me to Uganda, to the Congo, to Nigeria, to them leave them bad countries of where black people at. I'd rather go to jail shit, for a warrant before I go be deported to the Congo. You know what they doing to folks out there in the Congo? You know what they doing to folks in Nigeria? You know what they doing to people in West Africa, even parts of South Africa? But we will not be deported. Don't let them use this detained. Because you're going to hear a lot of this, detained, we're detained, we're detained, we're detained, detained.
And if you are a black African American, if you are just brown or a POC, you are now immediately a target for ICE raids. In case you ain't know, them folks done rained up into an apartment complex in the middle of Chicago. Regardless of how them folks spoke, regardless of where they said they was from, regardless of how they appeared, they got thrown into a van and sent in for questions.
It don't matter. We will not be deported. And most of these people that making these videos is tethers, is black immigrants. It's black immigrants. These black immigrants can't make me feel bad because they getting detained and sent off. You can't make me feel bad like that. Don't be deceptive. Don't lie. That's all y'all do is lie. Lie, lie, lie. Why y'all lie so much? Huh? Just because Trump is getting on you, we ain't got nothing to do with it. We sitting back and chilling. And for my people that's been harassed in these states, man, my prayers and thoughts be with you. Keep your head up. If I had the money, I'll send it to you. So you can't repair everything that's destroyed in your home. But at the end of the day, black people, tell me a time in history where we haven't been racially targeted in this country. We always been racially targeted in this country. I've been racially targeted in this country. I lost things in this country dealing with these white folks. But I never, ever, and will never be deported. Y'all would never be deported. They might scare the shit out you. They might have inconvenienced you. They might did a lot of things, black Americans. But you will not be deported. It's these immigrants that are scared. They're looking at the one that feel like, I always feel like somebody's watching me. They think ICE is watching them. All right? Y'all stay strong. Shout out to my people in Chicago. Y'all be safe, and I love you.
See, folks, it's not working. The scare tactics isn't hitting the streets the way they thought it was going to hit the streets. As a matter of fact, the streets is hitting back. We got people that's out there that's literally walking the streets of Chicago, banging on people over this nonsense, and not just walking the streets, but walking over to the street where this happened. Let's go here.
Chicago, you need to stop lying and saying, and people on this internet need to stop lying and saying that they're coming for black people. Yes, there was a building in a black community that was not majority black because it had been overran by illegal gang bangers. Let's be clear. So why everybody want to keep throwing that narrative around? Half of South Shore is fucking invaded by illegals. That's the truth. So don't get on here saying black people are being came for. They're coming because they're in our neighborhoods and our communities. That's why. So yes, they're going to go in buildings where black people live and sleep because they put them in buildings where black people live and sleep. South Shore, born and raised. I know what I'm talking about. Stop pushing that narrative because it's not correct. So for those who was questioning about who I am and where I'm at, this is Adam Clayton Powell. This is the building that everyone is in an uproar about. So as I said, South Shore, this is your community, your neighborhood, and this building was not majority black when the ICE came the other day. Yes, black people were affected, but this building was overran by illegal Venezuelan gangs. And I just had several conversations with residents who are moving their stuff out of here that confirmed that. So stop letting media put that false narrative in your head that somebody coming for you, because they not. You was born here. You was born on this land. Rise up and stand up on something and stop letting any and everybody tell you something. So for those who was questioning.
Well, shout out to that sister for making sure that is known. She walked herself right on over there. When she said she's she's all the way down, when she said South Shore, through and through, born and raised, don't play with her. She wanted people to know I will walk over to the facility and let people know. Salute 400. Thank you for being here, as well as Dante. Me. Much love to the both of you. Thank you both for being here, family. Let's go here to this sister. Is Damon in the building? Is William or Damon in the building? Because, you know what I'm saying, I already know what's going to happen once I drop this one. Let's go.
So the fear-mongering has got to stop. Like, y'all are saying, oh, they're deporting Black Americans. No, they're not, because of what happened in Chicago. That building was riddled with Venezuelan gang members. That's who they were targeting, and that's who they were looking for. I'm so over this rhetoric that we're immigrants and we need to be afraid. I'm so over the fear-mongering tactics. Yes, I saw the videos. I saw the news clippings of the Black women saying that they were detaining kids. That shit is fucking like diabolical. It's very unfortunate, and absolutely something needs to be done. We absolutely need to talk about this. We absolutely need to fucking do whatever it is we need to do to make sure that things like this are not a normal reoccurrence. However, those people were let go. Like, they didn't send them to Guantanamo Bay. And you also have to keep in mind that there are immigrants that are also Black. So if you see someone getting deported that looks like me, maybe they're Caribbean and maybe they're African. So stop with the fear-mongering tactics. They went up in that building in Chicago to get the Venezuelan gang members. We've been under siege. We've been under attack. Literally, we are the blueprint for the resistance in this country. I don't think that it's okay that they use brute force against anybody.
Oh, crap.
Your hue complexion. I'm not in agreement with that. I definitely do not fuck with touching kids, period. Like, I'm just not, none of it is okay. And I feel like when you all hear me say, you know, Black Americans aren't immigrants, or when we would be like, this is not a fight, that mostly stemmed from the fact that there has never been true solidarity between us and Latin communities. One-on-one, pockets of us, absolutely. We bang with each other in real life. Some of us are best friends. Some of us have children together. But as a collective, y'all even treat the Afro-Latinos like shit. So for me to see you all making these fear-mongering videos, it's like, come on. We've been getting detained. Y'all don't remember Stop and Search that was going on in the 90s and early 2000s? Am I saying it's okay? No, but we will continue to fight the good fight. However, we are not going to get deported by the droves, because even if you get detained, they got to run you through the system and find out who you are. So stop with the fear-mongering tactics. This is not the way to get us to come outside. And do we need to fight back? Yes, but we are not fighting for the same thing. If you know, you know. Spread love is to proclaim.
All right, shout out. See, I tell you guys, I don't try to, you know what I'm saying, pick, you know, those type of videos off of situations like that. But, you know, the woman, she's very voluptuous. What do you want me to do about it? You know what I'm saying? I can't really, you know, force her to cover up. You know what I mean? But she was dropping those facts. She needs to, you know what I'm saying? I need to play that. Family, I want to go over here to Jamal Green. And for my people out there in Chicago, y'all let me know what y'all think about this brother. Because if from my understanding, I believe this brother was running for mayor at one point in time as well. I think he lost to Brandon Johnson, as a matter of fact, if I'm correct. But let's get over here to what this brother had to say.
See, I'm pissed off because a lot of people out there are acting like they don't understand what is actually happening in the city of Chicago in regards to the ICE raids. Let me tell you something. Black people, again, are collateral damage in this. And all the black people that are getting mad at ICE and Donald Trump, hold on, you got to get mad at the politicians right here locally, because it was the politicians right here in your city that decided to dump the migrant issue on the Black community like they do every single time. When they came across the border and checked asylum, they were able to come over into our city and get incentives like medical care, 6 months free rent, free transportation, free childcare. We fed them each and every day. And those people that they were giving assistance to, they didn't go up to the north side and to the white community. All of the people out there protesting.
Yes, this is the brother that stepped the roll in. Yes, this is him.
That are white, they didn't open up their doors for them, and they didn't want none of the shelters on their neighborhood. Guess where they opened up the shelters? In the Black community. Those same school buildings that they shut down in 2013 that were educating Black kids, they took those school buildings and they made them migrant shelters. And then they gave over $700 million to a company out in Florida to manage those shelters. They took the buildings that you've been asking for to be developed and build new housing, and they made them into migrant homes, giving them 6 months of free rent. They dumped the problem on Black community like they do every single time. When it was George Floyd riots, they closed downtown and pushed people to loot into the neighborhoods because they knew that people didn't care. Where was all the people right now? They weren't in our neighborhoods helping us open up back up our businesses. They were not in our neighborhoods helping us clean up. They weren't in our neighborhoods when we were fighting for Laquan McDonald, who was shot 16 times by Jason Van Dyke. I didn't see them at the protest. But now, right now, they want to make black people a part of the fight. When they made us collateral damage in the first place, we are always losing. That's why ICE is raiding buildings where black people are, is because they put them there. They pay for their rent. They pay for their food. They pay for their childcare. They pay for everything, but they didn't put them where they live. They put them where black people live because they don't want to invest into the community. So that's the easiest place to dump a problem. So yes, we can say ICE is being aggressive. Yes, we know that our armed forces are always aggressive more to us. But what we can say is that our politicians did it to us. They should have never allowed them to come over here in droves like they did. And then when they did come over here, they should have never put them and dumped them in black communities, acting like we didn't want economic development, like we didn't deserve better schools and deserve community centers and deserve grocery stores. We deserve better. And our politicians need to act like it. Stop putting everything before us.
Black people in Chicago, let's get this clear for the record so nobody is confused, right? In 2020 and 2021, when Democrats, specifically Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, flooded Chicago with the illegal, undocumented criminal invaders, y'all didn't have nothing to say about that, right? When the mayor, Lori Lightfoot, gave them benefits, millions, prepaid EBT cards with $10,000 on it, prepaid Visa cards, 6 months worth of free rent, free healthcare, free childcare, y'all were okay with that. And then you all continue to be okay with it by going out and voting for Kamala Harris to continue what she was doing with the open borders, right? Now that ICE is there to actually do something about it, right? With Trump's mandate, now you all are boohoo, whining and crying, complaining that ICE is coming to black neighborhoods. What the hell is wrong with y'all? Where else are they supposed to go when that's where y'all allowed them to go? You see, Democrats didn't put these illegals in Oak Brook or Oak Park or Evanston, in any of the white neighborhoods, yet you got the white liberals downtown protesting to keep those people there because they know that they're in black neighborhoods. And y'all goofy. Y'all falling for this. Y'all voted for Kamala Harris, and now y'all are protesting ICE coming to black neighborhoods to remove these criminal invaders. Y'all are calling ICE racist for coming to the black neighborhoods. Well, why are they coming to the black neighborhoods? Because that's where you all allowed them to go. So tell me you a goofy Democrat plantation slave without telling me you a goofy Democrat plantation slave.
Salute to that, brother, and that's 100-fold right there. I mean, you can't be mad that, you know, ICE is coming to locations where you are when they put these people where you are, where they shut down all of the community centers where your children and your elderly were and utilizing. When they opened up abandoned buildings and turned them into encampments. Yeah, you can't really be mad at that. Especially, do you guys remember that story where the brother was coming out of his house and the illegal was sitting on his car or something like that, and he tried to shank him at his house on his property? Yeah, I wouldn't be too mad that they're coming into my community if they're coming into my community to remove them out of my community. That should be the proper mindset of anybody from the black community. Especially anybody that want to see progression within your community. Especially anybody that want to see your children safe in your community. Exactly. They were even closing schools. Yeah, they were even closing schools. All to make them into temporary shelters. But they want us to be so rah-rah for these people. Nah, I pass. Family, that South Shore building was not the only spot that was hit. Let's go here. The Bronzeville homeless shelter was also hit out there in Chicago.
We have some updated numbers from the Department of Homeland Security. It now says more than 900 people have been arrested so far during Operation Midway Blitz. Now, yesterday, one raid happened at a homeless shelter in the Bronzeville neighborhood, and today, NBC5's V-Win talked to people who run that shelter.
Alex and Marion shelter officials held a town hall meeting this morning addressing concerns from residents about what happened. Around 260 men and women stay here at the shelter. Surveillance video from Wednesday morning shows federal agents in unmarked vehicles jumping out and chasing after a group of people standing in front of the homeless shelter in Bronzeville.
They never identified themselves. They never asked for anyone in particular, didn't present any warrants. They simply gave chase, and 5 people were initially detained.
Video captured a shelter staff member talking with agents. The executive director of Bright Star Community Development Corporation says his group manages the shelter for the city, serving a mixed population of migrants and the unhoused.
Their space was invaded yesterday, and so disappointment that they now have to experience this, that they now have to deal with additional hurt, additional trauma.
The encounter was documented on Facebook Live by the pastor of Bright Star Church. He later released this video message calling the move dehumanizing.
Let me emphasize, 60% of our immigrant residents are employed and work every single day.
According to Bright Star, at least 5 people were detained. 1 released on scene after showing his asylum paperwork. The other 4, including 2 shelter residents and a food vendor nearby, were taken into custody.
We aren't aware of anyone having any issues or problems with those individuals, so they just become part of our family. So that's about all I would like to say about the individuals.
Shelter staff addressed fears and concerns from residents, worried they could be next.
We've had some residents who were contemplating exiting the shelter or going out into the streets thinking that it would be safer, but we wanted to assure them. So part of our meeting today was to reassure them that this was a safe space for them.
We reached out to the Department of Homeland Security for a comment. We are still waiting to hear back. Reporting in Bronzeville, V1 NBC 5 News.
Thank you, V.
Family, I want to go to that clip of that pastor who had so much to say about this situation, whose church actually runs the homeless shelter in which they raided. And I think I'm going to call him Reverend Run DM Flea. Let's go here.
Today, federal agents from ICE and Customs and Borders Patrol stormed and raided our Bronzeville homeless shelter that the city of Chicago asked our CDC to manage. Their actions traumatized our residents, unsettled our neighbors, and shook the very staff who sacrificially served the 260 men and women who called this shelter home. Without warning, 7 to 8 unmarked vehicles arrived. More than 30, that's right, 30 armed agents leapt out unannounced and began chasing people, human beings who were merely standing outside of their shelter, preparing to head to work. Now, let me emphasize, 60% of our immigrant residents are employed and work every single day. This is actual footage from our security cameras showing you what this terrifying raid looked like, but no words can describe what this dehumanizing act felt like.
All right, Ref, I just want to say real quick before I let you finish, it's real interesting that you're so concerned about your residents when the majority of your residents were illegals. Why don't you have any homeless that are a part of your city? Why don't you have any black homeless, any veterans, any of that? Oh, because you're being paid by the city and Mayor Brandon Tether Johnson in order to house these people. So they're taking a check out of your mouth or out of your pockets. Interesting.
Had legal papers and were literally snatched from the streets. I saw it with my own eyes. When we handed one agent the official papers of a legal resident, the masked agent took the documents, shoved our handcuffed resident into an unmarked vehicle, and sped off. That helplessness. Watching.
Yeah, because they can't verify that document until they get back to the office. You're acting as if this is not a situation that has happened continuously. I can give somebody a document while I'm being arrested, and they're not going to verify that until we get downtown. That's how things work. They don't just take the time to sit to the side and say, okay, go ahead and sit over there. Let me go ahead and make a phone call here and try and get these documents verified. That's not how it works. Especially if they have orders of removals on people. It don't matter what kind of documents those people have. Salute Tasco CEO. Thank you for being here, family. Much love to you.
Dignity stripped and lives shattered in seconds is a trauma that no community should endure. And we must ask, is this activity a rehearsal for something darker? Perhaps even martial law? I get it. Some say they shouldn't be here illegally. Others feel frustration that migrants receive resources while so many of our own unhoused and unemployed still struggle. I hear that. I understand that. But today, I'm not asking us to debate politics, partisan.
Notice how he keeps saying migrants, but he just slipped up right there and then said, notice, I understand that some people say that migrants shouldn't be here when there's so many of us that are homeless and struggling. So you just basically admitted that those that you're housing are illegals.
Our own unhoused and unemployed resources while so many others feel frustration that migrants receive resources while so many of our own unhoused and unemployed still struggle. I hear that. I understand that. But today, I'm not asking us to debate politics, partisanship, or even the valid tensions that exist. I'm asking us to consider this. What is the role of humanity in moments like this? As a faith leader, I choose to anchor myself with what Micah chapter 6 verse 8 declares. He has shown you, O mortal, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with your God. This is not about political sides. This is about moral responsibility.
So now don't pay attention to what benefits you politically. Don't worry about what hurts your community politically. You got to do the moral thing. You got to forgive. You got to be the walking mat for everybody to come in this country, take your resources out of your communities, steal, unalive, and do all kinds of shady things in your community. But you shouldn't be worrying about the politics of the situation. You got to take the high route, you know. You got to stay humble. Well, DJ Jazzy Coon, I humbly decline. Matter of fact, let me say that again for you. I most humbly decline.
Many in our city feel helpless, unsure what to do. Let me be clear. We must continue to serve. We must continue to house, clothe, and feed the more than 260 residents entrusted to us, no matter what. But let me be honest, this crisis has made the work even harder.
260 residents that could have been American citizens who really need the help, like you just said. So what you're telling me is that I have to be selective in my Christianity if I want to be a Christian. I can't be selective and want help for my community over a bunch of people who broke the law to get here and whose very existence is a crime here. Does the Bible not say obey the laws of the land? I'm just asking. So you want us to ignore wanting to protect our community in order to protect someone else's who's targeting our community? Okay, go ahead.
Some of our residents who were working will now lose their jobs out of fear for being seized on their way.
So what? That means that job can go to an American. That means that job can go to a citizen. That's all that means. Salute, y'all, Octavius Prime. Much love to you. Thank you for being here, family, as well as our brother Cool Keezy in the building. Much love to you, my brother. Thank you for being here.
To or from work. Serving this many residents already has our budgets stretched to the breaking point. If you believe in justice, if you believe in mercy, I invite you to stand with us.
So now he wants you to now donate your hard-earned money. It's not bad enough that your tax dollars are being taken from you and given to people such as this in order to take care of people who is not supposed to be here, people who are taking your resources, people who are literally targeting your community when they get here. But now they want you to take the remainder of your money and give it to these Negroes who are out here trying to feed, house, and clothes these people that are targeting your neighborhoods, these people that are taking the resources out of your neighborhoods. This is what they want you to do. To that I say, hell no. I say, hell no. You better send that over to Kamala, whatever. Send it over to her. Send it over to Joe Biden. Ways to support. That's a slap in the face. While citizens sleep on the streets. That is crazy.
To help provide shelter, clothing, and daily meals. Your partnership will ensure that this vital work not only continues, but grows stronger. Finally, I must extend deep gratitude to the political leaders, city leaders, faith and community leaders, and all who immediately called, showed up in person, and asked how they could assist. Your solidarity.
We need to find out who each and every one of those people are, put them on blast, and make sure that no foundational Black American goes back to their church to support them. That's what needs to happen. For every church that showed up talking about how can we help, for every fake leader that showed up talking about how can we help, that information needs to be exposed. They need to be put on Front Street, and they need to be boycotted. Anybody who's taking American dollars and putting it in the pockets of people to take care of non-Americans needs to be exposed and put on Front Street. Shalom and salute, Leonardo Yuda. Much love to you. Thank you for being here, family.
Solidarity truly does matter. Let us remember what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said to all of us. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Today,
damn that. Okay? Damn that. Because we're seeing injustices all throughout our communities with these people in it. They don't even get arrested for the crimes that they're committing in our communities. That's an injustice right there. So don't bring up Martin Luther King. An injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere. Yeah, we're going through an injustice right here with those people being used to commit the injustice. The nerve of these people. These are your preacher class nowadays. This is your pulpit pips. Salute to our sister Bad 72. Thank you for your Cash App donation, family. Your donation is blessed as tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, my sister. This dude got his damn nerve, and everybody like him, to even use that quote while staring us dead in the face while we're going through that very injustice in which Martin Luther King preached about. And you're trying to save the people that they're using to commit the injustice against us. Salute to King Prince. I think we paid enough. The bank is closed. Yeah, as it should be. This is highly ridiculous. It's disingenuous. It's egregious. It's idiotic. Throw thyself down on your own sword for another person who's actively pursuing you with theirs. That's basically what he's saying. Throw thyself down on thy own sword for someone who is actively chasing you with theirs. Once again, I most humbly decline.
I reaffirm my commitment. We will not be silent. We will not shrink back. We will not stop serving. Justice, mercy, and love demands nothing less. Please share this with others, and we solicit your prayers and your support during this very dark time.
I hope everybody who's a member of his church walks out on him. That is my prayer. Any bootlick, tap dancing, pulpit preacher like this, I pray that his flock walk out, so he'll be a shepherd with no sheep. I say this all the time. Even the sheep get led to the slaughterhouse by the shepherd. And that's what these folks have been doing for the longest. This is why the black church is no longer the place of morality that it used to be. No longer the institution where we get together and we plan revolution like we used to do. So with all that's going on, family, you knew what was going to happen. It's the same old playbook. They send out their protesters. Let's go here.
Protesters clashing with federal agents in Chicago as ICE steps up President Trump's immigration crackdown. Agents and demonstrators pushing and shoving outside an ICE facility just outside the city this morning, and it appears some of the protesters were actually detained. That clash started shortly after Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem and Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino were seen on the building's roof with armed agents and a production crew. I'm joined now by Mayor Kawash from our Chicago station, WLS. He's coming to us from near that ICE facility in Broadview, Illinois. So, Mayor, just tell us how this all went down.
Well, we do know at least 5 protesters have been detained by law enforcement officials here this morning for really not obeying some of the signals to stay off the street here or getting too close to these federal agents. I want to show you what's developed here in the last 30 minutes behind us. They are adding even more security to this back entrance of the Broadview facility. We know the other side has already been gated off with a metal fence and barricades similar to this one. Now, protesters today have migrated to this area, trying to block vehicles coming in and out of this facility, but there's about 3 times as many law enforcement officers out here from state, local, and federal officers, and they have added these barricades here just in the last 30 minutes, and you see those riot guards right in front of them with riot gear on them. That is all a part of a unified task force that we have seen for the first time here today, made up of local and state resources. Now, we have seen the crowd diminish here in the last couple hours. It's gotten much smaller than the couple hundred people we saw here early this morning. Now, the interesting part with all of this is the dynamic between Secretary Kristi Noem showing up here today. We have not actually seen her on the ground yet. We do know that she showed up to the Village of Broadview's offices today looking to have a conversation with the Broadview mayor. That is when the Broadview mayor was not there at the time. So then we were told by the Village that the mayor came here to the facility to meet with the DHS secretary, but they were told that the DHS secretary is not available. So a little bit of a back and forth still going on between local officials here in Broadview, in Illinois, dealing with the federal agents and organizations. So things have remained calm since we saw those 5 arrests happen earlier today, and now you just keep seeing more resources and safety barricades added just in case things escalate once again.
So, Mayor, let me ask you about the ICE agents that raided this apartment building in Chicago overnight. What more do you know? What can you tell us?
Well, we do know that 37 people were arrested in that overnight raid. That was in a Southside neighborhood here in Chicago. Federal officials tell us that those arrests had to do with a gang, Tren de Aragua members specifically. But we heard from many residents who were there when all this happened overnight about 3 o'clock in the morning that those federal agents just took in everyone from those buildings in that apartment. And then they kind of just asked questions later and released people as needed. So that certainly caught a lot of people off guard. And really, that's the message of these protesters here right now. Everyone is aware of these federal operations happening in the Chicagoland area, but they just want more answers. You know, elected officials here nearby want to get into this ICE facility. They want to get more transparency on those operations and raids that we have seen in the last few days happening in neighborhoods all across the Chicagoland area. But to this point, there just hasn't been that, and that's why these protesters remain out here today, specifically asking guards for more transparency in this entire operation. Kara.
Mayor Kawash, please keep us updated. Appreciate your reporting for us there.
So that's what's happening. All of a sudden, now they're out there once again acting a fool. And before we get into it, I'm gonna give you guys a hot little second to get your popcorn. And while we do that, I'm gonna go ahead and play this quick non-commercial commercial break.
Introducing the B1 Rolodex, the easiest way to search for and support FBA and B1 businesses. Hundreds of entries from the Black grassroots for the Black grassroots. Free to use, free to download, constantly updated. Trouble navigating the document? Try using the map version. Notice a business missing? Use this simple Google form to submit an FBA or B1 business. Also submit anti-Black businesses, which are now being collected in that last tab. Find resources, contact numbers, and much more using the second tab. All the info you need to start practicing group economics today. Go to blacktruthunited.com. That's blacktruthunited.com.
All right, family. Shout out to our brother Black Truth United. Now, let's get into it, shall we? This is what Chicago looks like, apparently. And look who's out there once again. It's looking like LA. Yeah. See, once again, they starting to get real rowdy. Nah, family. Nah, family. Now, when you get rowdy, you can't be surprised when they start getting bucked up and getting rowdy right back. But let me show you some of the things that these folks are doing to the, to ICE. And it gets hilarious. Trust me when I say.
People are actually doing patrols where they stand outside apartment buildings. They'll be there for hours every day until midnight, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, patrolling these apartment buildings. And if ICE is there, immediately intervening, immediately getting, doing a protest, letting people know. We're trying to go in there in these factories, putting...
Family, don't he look like a soft Rick Rubin? He looks like he's a soft version of Rick Rubin.
Safety committees, having a sticker on the door that ICE cannot come in without a judicial warrant. As we're seeing in Chicago, they rarely have judicial warrants. So we're really doing some historic mobilization here in Chicago, and we're super proud, but we know we're in the thick of it right now. The key word here is resistance.
So these folks are going around and they're basically being the watchdogs for ICE. They're hanging outside of apartment buildings and they're just looking out for ICE. And yeah, they're out there doing things like this while looking out for ICE.
This is not normal. We're at the ICE detention facility in Broadview where protesters are being hit by cars, thrown to the ground, tear gassed, shot with rubber bullets, pepper sprayed. The windows of the building are boarded up, so we can't even see inside. This is our...
Now, family, I haven't found anything that says that somebody was hit by a car at the ICE facility as of yet. But I just found it interesting that was one of the first things that this dude
This is
said.
not normal. We're at the ICE detention facility in Broadview where protesters are being hit by cars, thrown to the ground, tear gassed, shot with rubber bullets, pepper sprayed. The windows of the building are boarded up, so we can't even see inside. This is our federal government weaponizing itself against its own people. And if that wasn't enough, ICE has thrown up an illegal fence around the building. It's blocking ambulances, businesses, even the village of Broadview is demanding this illegal fence comes down. I first came to Broadview years ago with my friends, the Sisters of Mercy, when I was running Marie Newman's Interfaith Coalition. We brought to...
Oh, he first got down there with his friends, the Sisters of Mercy. Maybe that's why he's so soft as well. It's just a bunch of softies out there right now. Softies on the street. He said this is not normal. That's exactly what he said. And guess what? Nobody said nothing when we was out there fighting for actual freedoms, you know, being unalived by police officers and things like that. Oh yeah, nobody was out there talking about this isn't normal the way that they're treating Black Americans out here. This isn't normal that they're turning the dogs loose. This isn't normal that they're bringing out the military for Black people. All they want is freedom. Nah. But when it comes to these illegals, oh, this isn't normal. Yeah, well, get used to it because this is the new normal. As Jason Black says, if we can't all live comfortably, we can all live equally uncomfortably. And that'll be that. Until y'all get it right, you know, we can see this and watch it happen as much as we need to. Shalom, Warrior Cherub. Thank you for being here, family. Much love to you.
Together Catholic, Jewish, Muslim leaders, because every faith teaches when you see injustice, you fight for the most vulnerable. That's what I was raised with. You don't wait on the sidelines, you jump in. You stare the bullies right in the face and you say,
shout out to our sister Angelic. This is an awesome contribution. Thank you very much. She said it wasn't normal for the last administration to flood the zone with illegals either. But it was crickets when they were doing it. It was crickets when they were doing it. And also, these people aren't in your neighborhood normally, are they? You're normally never paying attention to these people because they're in Black neighborhoods, aren't they? Since you want to talk about what's normal and what isn't.
and if someone you know is ever approached by ICE, know your rights. You have the right to remain silent. You do not have to open the door without a warrant signed by a judge.
You don't have to open the door. They can knock the door right on down. If they got an order of removal, you don't need to open the door. They can bust through your door. In the very same way, if they have a warrant, they can bust through your door.
You have the right to speak to a lawyer. You do not have to sign anything ICE puts in front of you. And if ICE shows up, call ICER's Family Support Hotline, 855-HELP-MY-FAMILY. Illinois, we stand up for our neighbors.
They got an ICE family hotline. Family, since when have they ever had a hotline for Black Americans? Is the police harassing you, messing with your children, messing with their mental health? Call our hotline, poponneedtogo.com. 1-800-POPO gotta go. I ain't never seen it. They came up with a whole hotline for the families of illegals who are getting exactly what the law says they should be getting: deported. Boy, I wish I can hear the calls on that end, to be a fly on the wall, to hear the counselor on that end. Hey, my mama just got taken away. Don't know where she went. All right, now come on down, get you a horchata and shake it off. You know, if she didn't come here illegally, you know. Well, at least that'd be me if I was you know. I ain't no good. I egged the situation on. Did your mother come here illegally? Hey, yes, of course. That's why they came and took her. Oh, so okay. You see, that was her problem right there. That's the problem right there. That's why she was arrested. I'm glad we got down to the gist of it. Now have a tortilla and shut the hell up. Salute to Cool Keezy. He said we don't take advice from Nabiscos. No, we do not. Especially no soft ass Nabisco like this. Hell no. Next thing you know, you'll be walking down the street switching in high heels.
We reject ICE terrorizing our communities. We're here to demand this facility be shut down, and we're not going to back down. So to ICE, get the hell out of here.
How many facilities did you run up on? How many prison facilities have you ran up on and demanded that they release their residents? Let's put it like that. How many jails have you ran up on because of the conditions? I'm just asking because, you know, how many of these wardens did you tell, hey, release all of your residents to get the hell out of here? Yeah, I don't see the same passion for us that you have for these folks. Salute Tyler Rich. Thank you for being here, family. Much love to you. Oh, Laura G. No, dummy. ICE is white supremacy. The plan is to dispose of all black and brown people. Is that right, Laura? I'll tell you what, Laura. Why don't you come have a conversation with me, Laura? I can take a quick little detour for you. Come up here and argue your position. Come on up and argue your position, Laura. Because ICE can't affect Black Americans. ICE can't do nothing to foundational Black Americans except detain you and let you go. Once you prove that you're a Black American, of course. Once you prove that you're a citizen, of course, you know, things that these illegals cannot do. And if you're Black and you don't have citizenship, then it's not the same as a foundational Black American now, is it, Laura? That's the same thing as an illegal now, isn't it, Laura? Come on up, Laura. Let's have a conversation. Let's converse. You wanted your 15 seconds of fame, and I'm going to give it to you. I don't know which one of your, I don't know if it's your gardener, maybe your pool boy, whoever you're trying to save and cape for. Yeah, that's not going to work here. You're talking to non-deportables. And if they could deport us, they would have deported us a very long time ago. But fortunately for us, this is our land. We ain't going nowhere. I see you ain't hit that link yet, Laura. Well, since you're too much of a coward to come up here and defend your position, let's move forward. And Laura, you keep that nonsense out of my chat now, you hear? You run over there and go tell that to your little Nabisco liberals. Now, before I was so rudely interrupted by Laura, we was about to get over here in the very same crowd where this man was sitting there saying, get the hell out of my city. They was getting shot up, tear gas, pepper balls, all outside the situation. Get up, get down. Chicago is an immigrant town. Get up, get down. Chicago is an immigrant town. Let's run that back. Yeah, family, while they're out there protesting, I got to give a shout out to our elder. This brother went out there and he said, well, since you want to protest, I want to protest too. But what I'm not going to do is lie while we out here protesting. I'm going to tell the truth. So you had this wannabe so-called Native American, one of the Siberians, Putin's puppets, Putin's Mexicans, excuse me, out here telling the police that there's no stolen land on stolen land. And telling police that nobody's illegal where everybody's illegal. Telling ICE to get up off of their property. Right there at the same place. Let's go here.
What? You really the Haitians? You really Mexicans? Venezuela? Get them all out of here. You know what?
The Mexicans, the Venezuelans, get them all out of here. Listen to the elder. Go ahead.
What? You really the Haitians? You really Mexicans? Venezuela? Get them all out of here. You know what? They gotta go too. No, that's all over here. That's all over here. Talking out of me, God. Can Tracy, my God, can Tracy reach back to the world? You know, I am home. I am home. Trump can't go home. Trump can't go home. Can't go home. Daddy Trump ain't got to go. I like Donald Trump. He's going home. If you don't like my people, get the fuck out of here. It's real simple. Real simple. You don't like my people? Get the fuck out of here. It's real simple. We're never going away, motherfuckers. Tens of thousands of years. We're never going away. You can never get rid of a native. You can never get rid of a native. You ain't got no land. You ain't got no land. You ain't got no land.
Shout out to the elder who called it what it was. This man sat there and went the hell out talking about, you don't like my people, get the F up off my land. Get up off my land. The elder said, you ain't got no land. Shout out. Like I said, when you know who you are, oh, you're going to put it on Front Street. You are going to put it on Front Street. We know that you don't belong here too. You can get deported with them. You can go back to Siberia. You can get up out of here. And shout out to the elder right there. He putting on his glove like he about to put in some work. Like if I got to, I will drag you out of here my goddamn self. Uncle's ready to turn the hell up. Salute the mother lover Jones. Thank you for being here. You know, I had to censor your name a little bit. Yeah. Shout out to that brother right there. All right, let's move forward here, family. Because while all this stuff was going down, ICE has gotten to the point where they don't give a damn. You know, Brandon Johnson basically sent out Chicago PD to kind of protect the protesters and things like that. And the protesters started acting real belligerent and out of pocket, like we saw in these clips. And, you know, I said, you know what? We don't give a damn who's out here. Everybody getting gassed. Everybody catching this tear gas. Po and all. And now, you know, the Democrats are actually using that to try to say, hey, Po, the federal government don't care about y'all either. Let's go here, family.
They don't give a fuck about you either. Why you protecting them?
Come on, man.
Tomorrow it's you.
Come on, man. Y'all, you know that was fucked up. Y'all know that was fucked up. Y'all know that was fucked up.
Garcia. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. We're gonna go this way. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up.
Y'all don't get, none of us get paid enough for this.
Hey,
Fucking job and arrest ICE.
Wake up.
They shot a Chicagoan
Wake
today.
up.
Arrest ICE.
Wake up. Wake up. No man. Every time you do this, no man. That's what he does. You guys get you guys. Hello. 5 seconds. They're coming this way. They're coming. They just get the hand signal. There's a hand signal. They got in the car. Y'all be ready for this shit. Y'all be ready for this shit. It's like,
Complete pandemonium, ladies and gentlemen. This is what's happening on the streets of Chicago as of right now because these folks don't want to allow ICE agents, federal agents, to do their damn jobs. This is what we're seeing. And honestly, I'm not too torn up about it. I'm not too torn up about it one bit. Salute the Swizzy Playhouse. Thank you for being here, family. And I agree with you. The greatest show on earth. That's why I wanted to make sure there was some popcorn around. You drinking your herbal tea, maybe having a little, I don't know, a martini or something to the side. Enjoy yourself. Because this right here should be enjoyed. With all the nonsense they've been talking on us, all the bull stuff titles they've been trying to put on us, xenophobic. They say we are the racists. We just want to be white supremacists. No, this is enjoyable for me. Let's just be honest. And the Democrats are using this as a situation to really just egg on the whole thing. Now Trump got his goons and thugs out here even harassing and gassing the police department. This is what they're out here saying, family. Salute to Snatch Adams. Thank you for your super chat, family. Your donation is blessed tenfold. And I appreciate your contribution. He said they would have had to crash out if they just let FBA cash out. Bars. That is bars. They wouldn't have to crash out if they would have just let the FBA cash out. That is facts, family. Much love to you for your contribution, family. That is bars. Got to put that on the shirt. You dig? Let's go over here to this article here, family.
In multiple occasions, we've seen video apparently showing federal officers deploying tear gas. In fact, it happened right outside of Humboldt Park Hospital. It's all part of a sweeping immigration enforcement effort that also saw a father and son arrested in Little Village. That son, his family tells me, is American. Chaos unfolds during the shift change of agents before video apparently shows a federal officer deploying tear gas at a crowd outside Humboldt Park Hospital Friday evening. It was during that moment in this video when Rebecca O'Dwyer recorded herself being thrown to the ground.
I'm 5 foot, 100 pounds, swiped me and sent me flying. And luckily somebody had the wherewithal to get a trash can and put it over the canisters.
That same crowd of anti-ICE demonstrators remained outside of the hospital, where inside a man who allegedly broke his leg while running away from federal officers recovers from surgery.
I'm going to arrest him.
It was also inside the hospital where alderperson Jesse Fuentes was briefly detained after questioning immigration authorities.
That's that quote unquote transgender person who was out there talking about if Donald Trump comes here, we're going to show them what we're really made of. I guess she showed them what she's really made of while staring me from behind the jail cell. Yeah, how'd that work out for you? Doesn't look like it worked out for you too well. Now, did it? Salute to Steak Johnson. Thank you for being here, family.
Authorities who were heard in this video claiming Fuentes was impeding their work. Tear gas also seen deployed by federal agents Friday in Logan Square. It happened.
Now notice, family, why they threw out the tear gas. They're in this white car. ICE is in the white car, white truck. They're being barred in by the person on the motorcycle. They're also being barred in by the people that's behind them. Excuse me. And so that's what made them throw the tear gas in this situation right here. That person on the motorcycle who refused to move, and the fact they could not go backwards because they had people behind them. Now watch how they spin this.
After this video shows someone on a motorbike apparently stopping federal authorities in traffic near Armitage and Central Park.
It was ridiculous. They were just being blocked in the street. They could have just backed up and gone around the guy, but instead
How do you back up and go around somebody when you have a truck behind you and the person in front of you is on a moped, scooter, motorcycle, whatever you want to call it? That's more of a moped scooter, if you ask me. However, I digress. They're just saying he should have just backed up and went around. No, they shouldn't have blocked him in to begin with. And many of these people should be getting kidnapping charges. Because, you know, blocking somebody from leaving or forcefully keeping someone somewhere, that is defined as kidnapping. I'm surprised we ain't seen any kidnapping charges come out yet. Exactly, Cool Keezy. Trying to Mayo splain. Splaining hard as hell, too. Well, they should have just backed up and went around. Exactly. Held hostage. I can't get over this. The tube Steak Johnson.
they had to use excessive force.
You can't do that. And in Little Village Friday, this video shows a 21-year-old man on the ground being arrested by federal agents. His 46-year-old father then eventually taken down too before both are led away in custody. We blurred their faces since it's unclear if they face charges. But community and family members who gathered where the two were arrested identified the father of three as Jesus Hernandez from Mexico, who's lived in the United States for 25 years, and his U.S.-born son, Brian.
He's the main head of the family, and it's sad that they're just taking him away from them.
Here at Humboldt Park Hospital, the director says while federal agents can come inside of the emergency room, they cannot go inside of the operating room. The director also telling ABC7 they have no plans at this time of releasing the man as he recovers from surgery. In Humboldt Park, I'm Trey Ward, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Well, family, they said they're not going to be releasing the man, and nor should they, because he's an illegal. He's supposed to be deported. Just because his son is a citizen don't mean that he get the rights of citizenship. And really, hopefully, that'll be going away real soon too. Let's go here, family, because we got to get to the apologist. They're trying to make it seem like it's such a big thing. Oh, we got the federal government going after the local government, and we got to be very prepared because this shows that they'll come after all of us. Let's go here.
Chicago are literally protecting police officers from ICE. On 38th and Kedzie, they decided to tear gas not only the protesters, but they also hit the police officers. Police officers literally can't breathe, crying out of their eyes, and the protesters giving them water and splashing their faces. That's who's looking out for the police officers, not the Department of Homeland Security, not the ICE agents. No, the citizens of the city. And I can't wait for the day that these motherfuckers have their day in court. I can't wait until they are all charged with treason. I can't wait until we get to laugh in their faces while they are all being arrested. One day they will get what they deserve, and we will be right there to laugh and cheer. And no, we won't feel sorry for your families, for your children that will grow up without their fathers or their...
We? We.
Fuck him, goddammit, and fuck anybody with his ass. Yeah.
Mothers, no, we won't feel bad for you being ripped from your home. And no, we will wish no mercy on you.
All right. That's what the Tether had to say about that situation. That's what the Tether had to say. Salute and shout out and shalom to our brother Still Kevin Trees in the building. Let's get into this next clip with the Nabisco and what he had to say about the situation.
Do you think local cops are going to realize that the federal government doesn't give a shit about them? In this video right here, you can see Chicago PD coughing and tearing up from an obvious tear gas attack. And who did it? It wasn't protesters. Okay, it was ICE. The police were there on the sidewalk making sure the protest stayed civil and justifiable and legal. Then some jackass in an unmarked car with a mask on and a badge on this Timu-looking vest that you can buy off the internet gets a tear gas canister, just throws it and closes the window, and they drive.
Notice how the Nabisco didn't say what really happened, even though he's playing a video of the person just, stopping and halting the ICE agent from doing what they're supposed to do. Or in other words, obstructing the ICE agents from doing their job. He skipped right on over that, didn't he? Keezy crazy. He said, I can smell the rotten mayo and meth smoking from this video. It's very potent, ain't it? It's just seeping through your screen. You need to worry about a dentist appointment and stop lying. Let's get into it, family. Let the mayo monster. This mayo monster look dusty and musty. You forgot crusty and dusty. Well, no, you said dusty. You said dusty. Okay, crusty and rusty. Let's put those two in there. Let's let them go.
Off right in the middle of the fucking street. And now it's hitting local police officers too, which, by the way, most states mandate that you don't have to follow federal orders just because they come into town. As a cop, you don't have to just blindly follow them. So if you choose to do that.
As a cop, you do not have to follow the federal orders or whatever. The city and the state does not have to work with the feds. However, when you are a citizen and the feds give you a lawful order, or you obstruct the feds in the way that that person on that motorcycle did, then you broke the law. And they can arrest you. It's called obstruction of justice. That's just the gist of it, sir. The same rules does not apply to the citizens that apply to law enforcement from the local and state level. He said that as if, well, you really don't have to rock with the federals. You don't have to listen to anything they have to say. No, PD don't have to cooperate or collaborate with these people because they're feds in their state. But the citizen, oh, you can get him the hell up real quick. Shalom and salute to our brother Antithesis. Thank you for your super chat, family. I bless this super chat tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, family. Out here supporting that MFer needs to put on a shirt, and I agree with you. All the hairiness on it. I can't stand to see a super hairy person. That's not me. That's why I don't like to see a freaking Indian take off his shirt at the beach. That shit is nasty as hell. Oh my God. See, I'm having flashbacks. I digress. Let me move away from that. Shout out to you, family.
And you find yourself in the middle of a protest being tear gassed again, you only have yourself to blame. I'm sorry, because it's quite obvious. They don't give a shit about me. They don't give a shit about you. They don't give a shit about white people, brown people, yellow people, red people, purple people. None of us. I mean, let's stop and look at it. They literally got hired to have a badge and a gun and tell people what to do. They don't even have to speak Spanish anymore or any foreign language at that. And by the way, you had to go to school for 10 to 12 weeks at the local law.
Police had to do the same thing. They do the exact same thing. He's acting as if they do not do the same thing. Antithesis said he looked like he stank. Yeah, absolutely. It looks like when you walk in his house, you're going to get a whiff of dirty dog and dead possum. Shalom and salute to our brother Damon Reeves in the building. Much love to you.
Enforcement Academy, they got to do it in 8. Less schooling, and they get to tell you what to do.
All right. So that was the Nabisco. Let's go over here to the now his Spaniard. See what she had to say.
Y'all think CPD is going to do anything after ICE attacked them today in Chicago? You're out your rabbit ass mind. The administration has already showed that they don't care about lives. They've been shown that since the insurrection. This administration doesn't care about our soldiers either. Finally, the right is waking up to that. Y'all heads have been so far up your ass that you don't realize that the government shutdown is going to affect you too. The police are not going to arrest ICE. Don't even bother saying it to them. They're not going to do anything. Even though I really don't think our country can devolve down to being like Nazi Germany in its totality, definitely there is an insane amount of fascism rampant in our country. And it is going to get a lot worse before it gets better. I do believe, maybe I'm an optimist, I do believe it's going to get better, but it's going to get way worse.
No, I feel you, Keezy. You're just out of your tether taco mind. And I agree 100-fold. I'm sick of these tethers too. Ring the alarm. Ring the alarm, because we ain't worried. We ain't worried. And a matter of fact, we're so not worried. Let me go ahead and let our sister Goddess go ahead. Glamour, get it, kill it off.
Jamaica, so does an American man, and we procreate on Jamaican soil. We just had an American say something. If I take my American ass to Jamaica, so does an American man, and we procreate on Jamaican soil. We just had an American baby on Jamaican soil. I'm gonna need y'all to stop coming over here and saying that y'all the first, second, third generation Black Americans of anything. You do not move to somebody's country and then become them. You know what I mean? There's a certain level of low cultural self-esteem and immigrant fear that is colliding. It's been colliding for months. That certain level of fear that y'all are having with ICE and everything else, you know what I mean? And the way that we are being rage baited online, we're being baited in the streets. They want a civil rights so bad. I seen a video of an African girl saying, "No, ICE is misidentifying African Americans. They're locking them all up and taking them where? To Georgia?" You know what I mean? That certain level of fear, y'all are trying to figure out what will it take for us to gain some certain level of fear, because then we will respond. We won't.
Family, what she say?
Fight African Americans. They're locking them all up and taking them where? To Georgia?
I'm gonna start doing that every time they say that they lock. They're taking Black Americans. They're deporting Black Americans. I'm gonna start singing, "I'm leaving on a midnight train to Georgia. Leaving on a midnight train to Georgia." I swear. These people get on my nerves with this nonsense.
You know what I mean? That certain level of fear, y'all are trying to figure out what will it take for us to gain some certain level of fear, because then we will respond. We won't have it because we're home. I honestly really feel like I'm living in the Matrix. You literally have
Damon. See, I knew it. I knew it. You wasn't even here. You missed it earlier, where I played a video and I asked if you was in the building because I knew it would have drove you crazy. It was your favorite girl. But yeah, I don't do this on purpose. I can't tell people what to wear, family. He said, you're driving me crazy. The top, not the bonnet. Shout out to David, man.
people who came over here and gentrify our neighborhoods. Just look at the conception of these neighborhoods that they are online crying about. Like, oh my God, you guys, these people are just going to be displaced. Like the people that was first living there. You know what I mean? It's like y'all do these things where y'all want to say, we've been in these neighborhoods for 40, 50 years. Who the fuck was in it before you? Y'all did not come to vacant land. You did not come to a vacant country. You did not move to vacant parts of this land. You know what I mean? I'm going to need y'all to pick y'all pride up off the floor. And men in particular, I don't care what nobody say. When it comes to strength of any culture, you feel what I'm saying? Man, you got to lead. How the fuck is y'all out here trying to be somebody else and y'all wondering why y'all women are running amok? Y'all wondering why y'all women come over here and they want white men specifically. You know what I mean? They want a savior. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all got to look at why y'all women be on here talking so cuckoo and want to be black and American women so bad. As a man, I would feel some kind of way, especially as a man of that culture. You know what I mean? I couldn't tell you how I would feel if a black American got on here and said, I'm Haitian. Bitch, what the fuck you mean? What the fuck's wrong with you? What the fuck you trying to say about our culture? What the fuck you got going on? But see, y'all don't feel that because y'all suck.
Shout out to my sister, because like I said, it's really everything she said is 100-fold. You should be ashamed of yourself as an immigrant man. Whatever it is, as an illegal, as an immigrant, as anybody who's pretending to be us, but then want to speak down on us, you should be ashamed. Anybody who said they don't need us, but then asks where we are, you should be ashamed. Anybody who ain't out there fighting the fight on their own, holding their own damn nutsacks, but they're asking us to come out of nowhere and be the Superman figure that their community needs, you should be ashamed. And there is no wonder why you see all of these African women out here talking about how their ideal man is a Nabisco. It's no wonder that you see these African women coming here starting these gender wars, because they're bringing all the activity that they had over there in their homelands, all the hatred and vitriol for their men, they bring it here and they start spewing those same talking points on the men here. So yeah, I agree with her 100-fold. I would feel horrible if I had to run under another man for protection. I would feel horrible if I had to put my woman under another man's protection. And that's exactly what's happening here. All of these people are basically trying to run under white zaddy, white mommy. And when that doesn't work, they run over to FBA daddy, FBA mommy. Somebody save me. That's what we're seeing here. And when they see that we're not afraid of the things that they're afraid of, they start trying to fearmonger you. You're next. They're coming after you. See, this is evidence that we all need to speak up about this, because it can be either one of us. Well, shout out to this brother right here. This brother Leo. And he says what's on his chest. And I'm going to let him say it.
No matter how many of y'all out-of-towner, weird-ass, Asian-ass niggas say that they're detaining black people in Chicago, we're still going to be out here free, walking around, not having to worry about shit. So keep lying, because it don't matter what the fuck you say. We still going to be cool. So keep lying. It don't matter. Keep being overdramatic. Keep on sensationalizing this shit. Because what you're doing is taking shit out of context and running with it. Don't matter what the fuck you say. We still gonna be Gucci over here. So keep lying, keep crying. Chicago gonna be good forever. So it don't fucking matter what the fuck y'all niggas say. Y'all are fucking weird.
Just like that. Shout out to that brother. And shout out to him for keeping it 100 and saying it simple and keeping it plain. No matter what y'all say, no matter what y'all do, we straight. We been out here throwing hands. We been out here fighting a good fight. Y'all been out there trying to convince yourself that there was no fight to fight. Y'all was out there trying to convince yourself that you didn't need to pick up arms. You didn't need to pick up your boxing gloves. You didn't need any help from FBAs because, you know, we talk about white supremacy too much. White supremacy that don't exist. You know, I don't see white supremacy where I am. And now it's hitting you right where you live. Well, technically, right in our communities because that's where they put you and that's where you live. And now everybody trying to fear monger us in order to run out and protect a bunch of people who's chasing us with their sword. Nah, buddy. Nah, shout out to that brother for saying that, though. I want to also make people aware that it's not just happening in Chicago. Bombshell DHS sweeps in Minneapolis, St. Paul finds 50% of immigrants had committed immigration fraud. Immigration fraud. Immigration fraud. Man, I wish that Ilhan Omar was caught up in this. Let's get into the article, shall we? Nearly half of all immigrants in Minneapolis, St. Paul, Twin Cities were found to have committed some form of immigration fraud during a recent sweep by authorities with the Department of Homeland Security officials released Tuesday. Exactly. Scamming Somalis. Officers encountered blatant marriage fraud, visa overstays, people claiming to work for businesses that can't be found, forged documents, abuse of the H-1B visa system, abuse of the F-1 visa, and many other discrepancies. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Director Joseph B. Edlow told reporters Tuesday. Officials didn't point to a specific group, but we know who that specific group was. But the Twin Cities have seen a mass uptick in Somali refugees and immigrants in recent years. An uptick of Somali refugees in recent years, with more than 82,000 from the East African country living in Minnesota. Isn't that where that big ear, big head Somalian dude is running? I'm just asking for a friend. Salute to our sister Black Spider for bringing this information. My hometown, Minnesota, they've been invading there since the 1960s. And that's straight from the grassroots, so we know that that's true. You ain't about to get all of them folks in there within a few years. No, them folks have been there. They've been getting brought into that damn area. You absolutely right, family. USCIS visited 1,000 homes across Minneapolis and St. Paul, in the last 2 weeks and found nearly 50% of inhabitants were engaged in some form of immigration fraud. Our officers found indications of fraud, non-compliance, or public safety and national security concerns, Edlow said. What they found should shake all of America. should shock all of America. I don't know what's going on here. Excuse me. The operations, dubbed Twin Shield and carried out with the help of ICE, began September 13th and concluded this week, with Ed Lowe calling it a success that could soon be reported. I don't know what is. Hold on. Okay. With Ed Lowe calling it a success that could soon be repeated in cities across the country. This is the first of many, Ed Lowe said. Any city should be prepared to be the site for an operation of this magnitude. Questions about the influx of migrants to the Twin Cities, particularly Somali migrants, have been in the national spotlight since claims emerged that liberal firebrand Representative Ilhan Omar, a naturalized U.S. citizen from Somalia, married her own brother to get him U.S. citizenship. So all this stemmed from someone saying Ilhan Omar married her damn brother in order to give him citizenship. Didn't we say that that wasn't going to be good for her? Didn't we say they're going to start looking deeper into her, and they should look deeper into her? And I hope they look even deeper and find that she was one of those people. Damn it, just being a rumor. I want it to be substantial. I want it to be real so that they can get her out of here. Omar has denied the reports, which originated in conservative blogs as she was running for state office in 2016, calling them false and ridiculous. It remains unclear how many people were detained in the recent federal operation. Officials would only disclose that multiple had been taken into custody, explaining that it was too early to give an accurate number. Interesting. The Twin Cities were chosen because the data showed it was a hotspot for manipulation and misuse of the immigration system, officials said. Okay. With cases of marriage fraud found to be a particular problem. In one incident, investigators encouraged a Kenyan immigrant who paid just $100 for a fake death certificate in his wife's name so that he could marry his way into the U.S. The trouble is, his wife was alive and well and found with their 5 kids in Minneapolis. The wife was alive and well and found with their 5 kids in Minneapolis. Incidentally, he has another wife living in Sweden, with whom has an additional 3 children, Ed Lowe said. Oh, he just out here shooting off children everywhere, ain't he? What's all that talk they say about non-fathers in the black community? What's this them tethers be telling us about not having the fathers in the homes, not being raised with any type of morals? Exactly, Val. This Kenyan's a rolling stone. Kenyan was a rolling stone. Wherever he laid his hat was his home. And when he fled, he left all his babies straight alone. And his wife too. That Kenyan was a rolling stone. Now. They better knock it off and leave us out of their mess. Another migrant found living in the Twin Cities was the son of a known or suspected terrorist on the no-fly list and had made numerous attempts to committing marriage fraud before being caught in the operation, according to officials. He is now in custody for deportation. Well, salute to them for that. A fleeing stone. Oh, snap. All right. The third person conned an elder American woman into marriage. A third person conned an American woman into marriage. An elderly American woman into marriage. And while the bogus couple have since divorced, officials said she lives in fear of retaliation from the con man. Family, these folks are out here marrying and threatening elderly women. That is crazy. Shout out to our sister Black Spider once again. She says Minnesota is the target hotspot for free immigrant benefits and oppressing Black people. Yeah, isn't that I would see that. I see that 100-fold, especially because that's where that one big head Somalian dude is running, right? I'm pretty sure that's where he's running. Wherever he went, he had his flip-flops on. Oh, Jesus, man. Oh, man. I want American people to know that we are declaring war on immigration fraud, Ed Lowe said. We have a responsibility to keep this system legitimate. What has been uncovered by these diligent officers, okay, if they were so diligent, they would have found this out way before it got put into the mainstream, but I digress. Over the past 2 weeks, that's only the tip of the iceberg. Minnesota has sizable immigration population from countries like India, Vietnam, and Mexico. But its Somalian residents have been a flashpoint for years. The first refugees from Horn. You mean the Horn? The first refugees from the Horn of Africa started arriving in the 1990s as Somalians descended into a violent civil war and famine. Give me 1 second, family. Let me take a drink of water. All right. While most are law-abiding asylum seekers, okay, I'll leave that at that. Former Hennepin County Sheriff Richard Stanek previously told Fox News 95% are good people who want to raise their families. A minority have caused an oversized negative impact with a rampant crime and gang activity. Credit card frauds and burglaries have been chief among these crimes. I'm not surprised by that either. While in some extreme cases, recruitments to overseas terrorist organizations like ISIS have been encountered. So that's what's happening in Minnesota, family, out in Minneapolis. They're out here snatching these people up for participating in immigration fraud. And it's rampant, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't just, it's rampant. You can't make this up. Let's go here to this brother Donnie on timeout. Shout out to him, family.
They finding all kinds of immigration fraud in Minnesota, from sham marriages to falsified death certificates and work permits. This guy, to end his marriage, brought a death certificate from Africa claiming that his wife was dead when she's alive in Minnesota with his 5 kids, to end their marriage so they could marry somebody else and give them citizenship. Other people talking about they working at places that don't even exist. They over there even threatening the elder for citizenship in Minnesota. ICE investigated 1,000 different locations and they found 200 plus cases of fraud. They say that they're going to investigate other cities, but they haven't said yet who they're coming to. My guess is Dearborn, Michigan.
Our Fraud Detection and National Security Directorate, working in teams, have conducted over 1,000 site visits across the Minneapolis-St. Paul area as part of this operation. What they found should shock all of America. Focusing on a list of over 1,000 target cases involving more than 900 individuals, our officers encountered blatant marriage fraud, visa overstays, people claiming to work at businesses that can't be found, forged documents, abuse of the H-1B visa system, abuse of the F-1 visas, and many other discrepancies. Over the course of the operation, our officers found indication of fraud, non-compliance, or public safety and national security concerns in nearly a little less than 50% of the cases interviewed.
Family, get them gone. I don't care. I'm going to be honest with you. All this is good. Or in the words of Jason Black, this is good. The more we're seeing these people get their heave-ho up out of here, the more we're seeing people get tossed out like Jazz and the Fresh Prince by Uncle Phil, the less we have to deal with their politics and the third world mindset that they bring over here to us. They're talking about making Minnesota Minneapolis strictly Somali. They want Somali to take over that area. Hell, they want, so I think she's a Somali. No. She is, can't remember this woman's name, but she's another Muslim immigrant who's a representative out there in Georgia. They want her to run for the damn governorship. They're trying their hardest to put these immigrant folk in these positions so that they can bring in more of their people to do more of the things that these Somalis are out there doing, like practicing immigration fraud. Like, divorcing one wife and marrying another, leaving your 5 kids one place and leaving 3 kids in another place, but then want to come over here and talk to us about fatherless homes. This is what they're doing. And the Democrats is right along with all of this. They're trying so hard to protect these people. It's ridiculous. It's amazing to me how these Democrats can't do a damn thing for us to make sure we're protected. But when it comes to these people, they want to go all the way to the UN to put in a petition to have the UN to come in and look at the situation at hand and to deem it inhumane to deal with these people in such ways. What have they did for us? Not a damn thing. But what they calling Auntie Waters, Miss Maxine Waters, she don't have no problems running her old decrepit self over to the UN for these illegals. Think I'm playing? Let's go here.
Congresswoman Waters and the Carrillo law firm are calling on the public to sign their petition for the United Nations to open an independent human rights investigation. They're also asking the UN Human Rights Council to visit the U.S. to observe ongoing immigration operations.
The Supreme Court sided with the Trump administration, allowing for them to continue. Now, the Carrillo law firm, joined by Congresswoman Maxine Waters and U.S. citizens, has filed a petition to the United Nations Human Rights Council.
The look or the language they speak, the government is absolutely failing in its most basic duty.
They can appoint human rights violations experts to investigate. They can also send individuals into the countries to investigate to see whether there is abuses of human rights.
Congresswoman Waters and the
So they can get up off of their ass and go do things when they want to go and do things. It's just that they don't want to go and do things for you. It's just that they don't want to go and do things for us. Oh, yeah, you would think that her decrepit little self would have a problem moving in the manner that she's moving because, you know, she might have some hip issues or something like that. Oh, no, she's over there power walking to the UN with a petition to investigate the human rights violations in the United States, but not for foundational Black Americans. Because if you remember, the UN already came over here to the United States and did a report saying that America is participating in genociding foundational Black Americans and they owe a form of reparations because of it. That happened almost a decade ago. But guess what? Nobody in the Democratic Party asked the UN to come and do that. The UN actually came in on their own accord and did that. Maxine Waters didn't run over there and ask them to look into it in the very same way that she's asking them to come and look into some illegals being snatched up in America and being deported back to their home, their land of origin. That's why nobody's rocking with these people. And that's why people is calling this out in every which way as much as they can. Because we see the game. We see the nonsense at hand. It's the very same reason why they shut down the damn government. And speaking of government shutdown, let's go here real quick. Remember, a couple days before the government shutdown, we had, what's his name? Senator Kennedy come out talking about why the government shutdown is going to happen. Shout out to our brother DSB. Thank you for being a member, family. Much love to you as always. Let's go here. I want you guys to see what Senator Kennedy was saying beforehand, and then we're going to go to what Kennedy was actually talking about the reason for the shutdown actually was. And trust me, Doge, it's along those lines. U.S. aid, it's along those lines. Think of it like that. But let's go here first.
We just took our last vote of the day. There will be a shutdown. You know, everything happens for a reason, but sometimes the reason is you're stupid and you made a bad decision. And my Democratic colleagues have made a very, very bad decision here. I knew they were going to do this 2 weeks ago when they listed their demands. They're demanding, for example, that we not check people on Medicaid for eligibility by income. Just let anybody sign up who wants to sign up. They're demanding that we give free health care to foreign nationals who are in our country illegally. They're demanding that taxpayers pay for sex change operations. If you list all of their demands and add them up, it's between $1.2 and $1.5 trillion. Now, they know it's an unserious proposal. They know we're not going to accept it. That tells me that this decision to shut down government is not based on policy, Rob. It's based on politics. And here's the politics. The loon wing, the socialist wing of the Democratic Party, does not like Senator Schumer, and he wants them to like him. He wants them to love him. They have asked that government be shut down, and Senator Schumer has agreed. But once you shut down government, you've got to figure out how to get it back open. A wise person once said, if you pray for rain, you got to be prepared to deal with the mud. And I don't know how they're going to deal with the mud, because we will never, ever agree to this list of demands. So I guess we'll just stay shut down in perpetuity.
That's your side, and that's the Republican side. That makes sense to me. I've seen their list of demands. This is how they're telling the story on their side. I want to play that and get your reaction to it.
The president has sadly made his position clear. He would rather shut down the government than work with congressional Democrats to address this skyrocketing healthcare cost crisis.
It's really up to the Republicans. Will they really choose to shut down the United States government just to indulge their bizarre fascination with taking healthcare away from Americans? Aren't we better than that?
Just get your reaction to how they're trying to spin this to the American people.
What Americans have lost their health care? None. I mean, it's all make-believe. It's all play acting.
Yeah.
We reformed the Medicaid in our One Big Beautiful Bill.
Yeah.
We're enforcing the provisions with respect to Medicaid, and they want us to rescind that and to just allow anyone who wants Medicaid to walk in and say, I qualify, give me free health care. That's what they're asking us to do. And that's not going to happen in your or my natural lifetime.
You know, everybody's reporting the same stories, the same spin. You turn the channel.
All right. Salute to our brother DSB, and shalom to you. Thank you for being a member for 5 months, family. He says, you're welcome, my warrior brother, and thank you for all that all of your hard work, family. I appreciate you with all my heart, family. Thank you. And then also, shout out to Snatch Adams. Thank you for your super chat. I appreciate your contribution as always, family. He says the only reason why they're fighting so hard is because all of the fraud is being uncovered, leaking back to them. You're absolutely right. And give me a hot second, because we're about to play what was found, or what they wanted taken that was taken out of the bill that they want to put back into the bill in order to keep the government open. Shalom and salute to our sister Opa Ivy in the building. Most love to you. Thank you for being here, family. As always, it is a pleasure. Let's go here in closing, family. Let's hear what he says they wanted to keep in the bill or put back into the bill in order to keep the government open.
We took out, and here's what they want us to put back in. We found that under President Biden, they were spending $3 million for circumcisions and vasectomies in Zambia. We took that out. The Congresswoman says, we're going to shut down government until you put that back in. We found $500,000 of American taxpayer money for electric buses in Rwanda. We found $3.6 million for pastry cooking classes and dance focus groups for male prostitutes in Haiti. I kid you not. I'm not making this up. It was in the budget under President Biden. We took it out. Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez in the socialist wing, the loon wing of the Democratic Party, says we're going to shut down government until you put it back in. I'll just read you a few more that we took out. They are demanding we put back in. $6 million for media organizations for the Palestinians. $833,000 for transgender people in Nepal. $300,000 for a pride parade in Lesotho. $882,000 for social media mentorship in Serbia. $4.2 million. We took it out. The Congresswoman and the socialist wing of their party says we got to put that back in for that open government. $4.2 million for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and intersex people in the Western Balkans and Uganda. I could spend the rest of the afternoon here.
This is what they wanted to keep the government open. Them folks were mad that they were taking out the most nonsensical bull stuff in the very same way that we would find it with USAID, that they were putting money all these other places. Since Biden, we finding out that he's been putting money in a lot of other places. Let me run that back. Male prostitutes. What the hell, man?
Government until you put that back in. We took that out. The Congresswoman's and vasectomies in Zambia. That under President Biden, they were spending $3 million for circumcisions and vasectomies in Zambia. We took that out. The Congresswoman says we're going to shut down government until you put that back in. We found $500,000 of American taxpayer money for electric buses in Rwanda. We found $3.6 million for pastry cooking classes and dance focus groups for male prostitutes.
Pastry cooking classes and photo shoots for male prostitutes. Family?
$1,000 of American taxpayer money for electric buses in Rwanda. We found $3.6 million for pastry cooking classes and dance focus groups for male prostitutes in Haiti. I kid you not. I'm not making
Dance focus groups. I'm sorry. I thought he said photo groups. Dance focus groups. They're paying for pastry classes and dance focus groups for male prostitutes in Haiti. Where is Wyclef John? I need you to come to the front of the room. I need to have a conversation with you, Wyclef. Because I need to know, why are we spending that amount of money, millions of dollars, for pastry classes and dance focus groups for male prostitutes in your homeland? I need to know, Wyclef. Damn, someone please call 911. Someone call Wyclef and get him on my line. I'm so confused. Yeah, they got us paying their bussy trick tap dance. Like, what the hell is going on here?
We found $500,000 of American taxpayer money for electric buses in Rwanda. We found $3.6 million for pastry cooking classes and dance focus groups for male prostitutes in Haiti. I kid you not. I'm not making this up. It was in the budget under President Biden. We took it out. Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez in the socialist wing, the loon wing of the Democratic Party, says we're going to shut down government until you put it back in. I'll just read you a few more that we took out. They are demanding we put back in. $6 million for media organizations for the Palestinians. $833,000 for transgender people in Nepal. $300,000 for a pride parade in Lesotho. $882,000 for social media mentorship in Serbia.
$500,000 for bussy cleansing is wild. That is wild.
$4.2 million. We took it out. The Congresswoman and the socialist wing of their party says we got to put that back in for the open government. $4.2 million for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and intersex people in the Western Balkans and Uganda. I could spend the rest of the afternoon here.
Family, I don't give a flying F what any of these people have to say. I don't give a flying F about how they feel like we should be spending our time when it comes to this situation. These folks are out here sending millions of dollars all over the place for a bunch of frivolous nonsense, and they couldn't cut the check for us to make sure they stayed in office? Yeah, don't talk to me about no goddamn ICE raids. Don't talk to me about any type of government fascism when we're living in that same damn era. This is what the Democratic Party wanted. The only problem was they thought that they could put these people in our communities, so when they need to talk about crime in the communities and that how Black Americans need the Democrats to come in and fix the problem, we'd be on board. But in the very same way that Joe Biden cracked open the border and then kept calling out to Congress to bring him a border bill, and it took us to call him out for that nonsense, we're calling them out for this nonsense too. I don't care about nothing y'all say. Not nothing. Every single thing that you have done has been against the better interest of your constituents, which is foundational Black Americans. And now, since everybody is starting to catch hell and live equally uncomfortable, now everybody want to run the foundational Black Americans. Y'all can sit on a pole and spin for all I give a damn. If y'all want to sit here and put our people in danger, don't call us when everybody's in danger. If you want to sit here and put our children in a goddamn position where they're in danger every single day, don't come and talk to me about anybody else's children. Especially when y'all saw all these years what they were doing to not just us, but to our children. And ain't nobody out there talking about, but what about the children? Would somebody please think of the children? Shout out to our brother Antithesis. Thank you for your super chat. It's family. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always. As you say, cut the check. That's it. That's all. All the fear tactics, all the things that you think is going to work and pull us back to the plantation will not work. Everything that you guys keep trying to use against us, the Most High is stepping in and putting his hands on it and saying, nah, I'm gonna switch this up a bit. Keep the party going. And y'all hating it because everything is spinning right back on you. Shout out to the ancestors and all the spiritual energy that's been put behind us. And all of the spiritual energy that we stand on. Because instead of it just being us, now everybody running around singing, I'm catching hell. As you should. If you thought that we were going to be the only group to catch hell and allow people to come in here and just roll off of our backs, step all over our backs, wipe their feet, and then we were going to get up and run and be the stone wall for these people, you're sadly goddamn mistaken. Salute and shalom to our brother Ayo. Thank you for your super chat, family. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, family. He says, money for the church. Much love to you. Thank you very much, family. Yeah, this ain't that day and age anymore. And I know it's mind-boggling to you. I know you're racking your head, beating your brain up against the wall, trying to figure out how do we get these Negroes back on that plantation so that we can have a chance in 2026. Well, let me tell you, all the Democrats, come on to the front of the class. Let me say this very clear so that you understand this. 2026, you're done for. No matter what you do in 2026, I don't believe you're going to win that House, and I don't believe you're going to win the Senate. I don't believe that you're going to get more seats. I believe that you might just lose more seats. Because you were so willing to honor somebody like Chucky Kirk, an anti-black staunch racist. And then you were also willing to shut down the government because they don't want to send millions of dollars to Haiti so some male prostitute could learn how to cook pastries and dance. I'm going to need you guys to start getting it together. If you ever want to see a black vote again from the foundational Black American community, there are very simple things that you can do. Number one, come with that anti-black hate crime bill with all the protections of a protective class and a protective people in this country. That's number one. Number two, you're going to have to cut the check. That's just what it is. You're going to have to cut the check. And number three, we're going to need you to stop all the nonsense of going around trying to berate and disrespect foundational Black Americans because we don't want to stand for your immigrants, for your illegals, and do for them. We're going to need you to stop being so disrespectful to our lineage and heritage and culture by using our history in order to progress other groups in front of us. You're going to have to stop being so asinine when it comes to what we're seeing, thinking that you could just tell us anything, and because it came out of your mouth, we're going to believe it. Each and every one of these things that you do, you know, it helps us move further and further away from the Democratic Party. Y'all better get it together and understand that we are not Democrats and we are not Republicans. We are 100% independent, foundational Black Americans, and our interest is 100% about foundational Black Americans. There is no issues that I'm going to get on board with you about. I'm not going to be looking for one issue that I like from you. We're not doing any of that. And I'm seeing that you guys want another example in 2026, and that's what we're going to hand you. Another L. And then by 2028, if you're not acting right, you'll be handed another L there too. We can keep doing this all day, every year. Every 4 to 2 years, we can do this. Until y'all get it through your thick ass skulls that we're not here for the disrespect, and you will be cutting that check. That being said, family, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like and share button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, please click the link in the description. Go to change.org and put your signature on the petition for reparations. Family, like my brother Cool Keezy just stated, FBAs keep big stepping. That's what we're doing. We're not the puppies. We're not sitting on the porch. We out here stepping like the big dogs that we are. We out here eating like the big dogs that we are. And we're calling each and every situation out left and right, whether it's for us, against us, and whether we like it or whether we don't. We get targeted in this country. That's what we've always had to deal with as foundational Black Americans. There has never been one time in this country where we wasn't targeted. But at least this time, that targetedness came with a removal of dangerous people that was just placed into our neighborhood by the very same people that want us to run to the polls and vote for them. Yeah, buddy. I say, and I say this as clear as I can say it. I say, let them burn. Let them burn like they're Tom dancing in the middle of the street to an Usher song. Let it burn, gotta let it burn. Until you do right by me, everything that you think you're going to do will fail. With that being said, family, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being here. I'd like to thank all my mods and members. I'd like to thank everybody who's donated by Super Chat or by Cash App. Much love to all of you. I'd like to thank everybody who's going to catch this in the replay. And with that, I say, family, don't let these people play in your faces. They sit here and deliberately lie, deliberately be deceptive, deliberately deceive, and then wonder why they ain't getting any FBA eyes on their product. And then wonder why you got people like Roly-Poly Martin having to steal our talking points in order to get any type of engagement on his page. We ain't having it. Y'all not about to send us no more Jesse Jacksons. No more Al Sharptons. With that being said, family and friends, the doors of the church are now closed. Peace, family.
My grandfather built this country, man. He fought wars for it. And most places he went wouldn't let him sit down and get a cup of coffee. I can't even catch a cab in New York. You know, it doesn't matter how many degrees I get. All you people see is color. Your grandfather was an immigrant. You're American. My grandfather was born here, Duke. And you people still look at me as just another nigga.
I know that the government, whatever can't stand us black people, he's doing everything in the world to make black man be extinct. But I'm going to tell you one thing, us black people going to survive. Yeah. So fuck everybody. I'm out.